Good evening. Happy Wednesday night. It is Wednesday night, which means it's time for another stream of Blades. We're getting towards the end of this very exciting Band of Blades actual play show. My name is Rudy Basso. I use he/him pronouns. I am one of the co-owners of Don't Split the Podcast Network, and I am playing the Commander Greymane. Sort of, actually, because actually the Legion has continued on without a special elite group, which are doing something else that I'll tell you about momentarily. Or I won't tell you. Someone else will. Someone named Shane. Shane, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me who you are. I guess that's about it, because you're not playing. You're playing everybody else. So just tell me about yourself.
I am Shane. I use he/him pronouns. I am Mundangerous on Twitter. I am the Game Zaddy tonight. And I am one of the co-hosts of the Total Party Thrill podcast on this here podcast network.
Yes. To my above, Amber. Hello. Hi. How are you? Tell me about yourself.
Hi, yes. I use she/her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at RocketOrca. I am the co-owner of the Geek Perspective podcast network. I'm on shows like Tales from Oxfairy, and I have my own show, Shapeshift. And I'm playing Claudette Vanderbilt, who is the quartermaster.
Yes. And to your far left, Sally. Hi. Hello. Tell me about yourself. Who's your command staff character?
My name is Sally. My command staff character is Mal, the marshal. I use she/her pronouns. Mal uses he/him. I am on Twitter at Sally T, and I co-host a podcast called The Struggle Bus, which comes out every other Thursday, not this week. We're giving you extra time to process Stream of Blades. So Struggle Bus is going to take the week off for that. So you can just sit with that.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. We'll be back next week.
Nice. And finally, I-Hsien, your command staff character is also a mission character. Whoa.
Dun, dun, dun.
So for the very first time, maybe in any Band of Blades game.
Whoa. Tell us about yourself and that character.
Hey, I'm I-Hsien, he/him. I am the other host of Total Party Thrill, where we talk about how to play and run better RPG games. And I am playing Ash, the spy master, who has attached himself to a mission to locate the Horned One, and then now, I guess, get the hell out of Dodge and regroup back up with the Legion without all of us dying horribly.
Yes. Shane, I-Hsien just told us a little bit about what's going on, but why don't you please give us a quick background on what happened last week?
Well, like everyone has mentioned, the Legion, not for the first time, but perhaps for the last time, has split. The main focus that we have here is at Greymane's urging. Ash is leading a mission team to bring a Star Fox, which is sort of an omen, a fox with a fur coat that looks like the star, like pinpricks of the stars in Moonlight. And I-Hsien, what are you doing?
I'm rolling the threes out of my dice.
Okay.
It's new dice that I got at PAX Unplugged, so I need to fix it.
Super distracted me.
Who else got new dice? Raise your hand if you have new dice.
I have new dice.
I'm not raising my hand, but everyone else has new dice.
No, I don't either.
Amber doesn't either.
Oh, but you were there in
some dice,
spirit.
Amber.
So so we should PAX Unplugged interrupt. Amber didn't join us in PAX Unplugged, but she did Photoshop herself into a photo of us at PAX.
Oh my
Unplugged.
God, I didn't see that.
As a jalapeno as well.
Yeah, as a jalapeno.
I found it very believable.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Honestly, you're the truest member of the group now.
Yeah, but with your spicy personality, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, your job is to bring the Star Fox, which is an omen, a blessing of the goddess of the moon, Nyx, to the goddess of nature, the Horned One, two of the Panyar goddesses, who is somewhere in Talgon Forest, west of Fort Callisto, where you were currently stationed. Joining Ash, who is, yes, now the former spy master and scout emeritus, are almost all of the surviving Panyar members of the Legion. So there's Red Raging, the Heavy, Azure Sighing Grove, the Medic, Sapphire Dancing Tide, the Soldier, Crimson Vexing Gale, the Soldier / Spy, and Silver Whispering Glade, who is the priestess who was holding the Star Fox when you found it. And then last but not least, because discipline and leadership are important, you have brought along your best officer, Ananika Elyanova, who the old battle axe, as she's known, who will help Ash keep everybody in line. And so you have escaped from Fort Callisto under cover of a sortie. The Legion basically, like all of Fort Callisto was under siege from multiple armies of the Broken, and the Legion led an assault out the gates and broke on towards the high road, the last stop, sort of last landmark on your way to Skydagger Keep, which you intend to hold until the winter snows come, and buy yourselves time to regroup, reform an army to the east. Meanwhile, the mission team led by Ash slipped out into some of the older trenches that had been left behind from previous battles at Fort Callisto and into the forest. You were able to kind of shake through any patrols and avoid getting spotted by behind enemy lines, and eventually ran into emissaries of the Horned One. First a raven, who you followed for hours on end, deeper and deeper into the forest, and then ultimately to a stag, who presaged the Horned One herself appearing. Meanwhile, the Legion has marched on to the high road and successfully reconnoitered a path through the peaks. So you are free of Fort Callisto if you can hold on. I think you are down to only 16 fighting members of the Legion right now. Only 3 full squads and then one extra rookie left behind. So times are grim. I think we'll find out on campaign phase, but I think you're pretty low on supply, getting close on food, low on intel, desperate to just get to Skydagger and get the job done, and hope against hope that mission team bringing the Star Fox, there is a chance, there is a belief that you might be able to resurrect the goddess Nyx, which would clearly be an important moment in the campaign. If you can resurrect a dead goddess, then perhaps you can find a way to kill the Cinder King himself. So with that said, are there any questions about what happened last week?
I don't think so. The only thing is, I just can't remember. Did we do the results of the secondary mission?
We did. You guys failed the assault mission,
Okay,
which was the escape, and you succeeded on the recon mission, which
Okay.
was finding a path through. And we have, I think, well, actually, we need to make sure that we do the bookkeeping for that, because we'll start in campaign phase
Okay.
and make the decisions. We'll focus on the Legion and the command staff, and then we will return to, I think the very last thing that the Horned One told you was, it's good that you're here. We should get started on the ritual before dark because it's going to take all night. So let's go into campaign phase, just to do the last minute bookkeeping from those last missions. So you added +1 time, and
Yes.
you lost 3 morale for losing the 3 rookies who died on the assault mission.
Ooh.
Ouch. We've used up the
Owie.
banner entirely, haven't we?
I still show 1 tick
That would be great.
available, but I'm the only one who's been tracking this, so the banner uses. So I'm pretty sure we haven't used the 3rd one.
Yep, I think you.
I
Have
don't
one
think
more.
we have
Oh,
either. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we have 1 use left.
So now would be a good time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use it.
So you are cold, battered, depleted, but marching under that banner, you are chins held high, chests out, shoulders back, and marching proudly. So there's that.
We just
So
hit
that means-
Florida. Disney World's inside, everyone. Get excited still.
We're not going to stop for any more rest stops. We're going.
So only we lose 1 morale instead of 3, right?
We lose 0 morale because it's for up to 5 dead people.
Up to 5, yeah.
If you
Okay.
lose 4 rookies on primary and 2 rookies in secondary, you can use the banner and lose only 1 morale. I guess I wrote this down wrong. We lose 0 morale.
No, that's correct. Yeah, but it's so the way that the banner works is you ignore the morale loss for up to 5 rookies.
I see. Okay.
But it's not rookies on a single mission. It's like total losses for the phase.
Got it.
And then the other mission, so along the recon, you were also able to recover an experimental orite catapult, which is an exceptional siege weapon. This catapult is like alchemically powered and uses a special kind of ammo that your alchemists are able to help you produce.
Woohoo.
If you can get it to Skydagger and get it set and in place, it might prove to be quite valuable in that siege.
What do you mean, get
Nice.
it? Is it okay.
Yeah.
Are there
I mean-
mechanics here for moving it, or
No. You just have
Okay,
to
alright,
drag it there.
That's with Slippery and his crew?
That was Slippery and his crew. Yep.
Okay.
And then just
Unless
kind
he
of,
sells it for parts.
So it is a concern.
it was the Silver Stags. I don't think the Silver Stags would let Slippery Pete get away with that.
It's true.
Good. That's good.
And then also just we've already gotten all this covered in the sheets, but just a reminder: 3 Ember Wolves died on the assault mission, and all the specialists, so Arun and Adhikar, took level 3 harm. And on the recon mission, Slippery Pete, already pretty beat up, took level 1 harm, but otherwise was uninjured.
it's only level 1. He's got 2 level 1 harms now, I believe.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
getting
think that's
pretty
right.
full.
Yeah. Butt shot and then shot another butt.
Double butt shot.
It happens.
Through and through. It's fine.
You got to turn the other cheek.
Oh, man.
Heyo.
All right. So let's get into campaign phase. So you are, I think, in the high road, like you are on one of those passes, sort of like you've crested the mountains and you're now on the downhill, where you finally break to make camp. And let's go into the command tent. First of all, we have a new character in the command tent. So some old stalwarts, some old favorites, but I-Hsien, who is representing the Spy Master.
Right now, acting spy master is Antoinette, who is Ash's most trusted spy. She is an Orite who does not have a title because she is of low birth, but don't say that to her face or she'll cut you.
Oh.
And what does she look like? Because we've never met her before.
No, she is in her early 40s and basically carries herself with an air of nobility. The only thing she lacks is the birth, right? Certainly not the carriage of nobility. And she is, of course, more worthy of a title than most who actually have one. And I would say in her travels, she has basically amassed the finest assortment of clothing and weapons. Although it is only the clothing that people typically see at first. The weapon she keeps well hidden.
And I mean, it's also like very, very deep into autumn now, as you are on the high road. Like this is icy, cold, windy. I think all they can see of anybody right now is probably clothing, as everyone is bundled up as best they can.
The road to Daggerford to Daggerford.
Skydagger.
Daggerford Falls.
Daggerford Falls. Skydaggerford Falls.
We're not doing that. Okay, so yeah, let's get started with campaign phase. So, what does this look like as everyone is gathered around Greymane's table for perhaps the last major moment before you get to Skydagger?
I like to think that Claudette is putting down the plates that she usually serves some sort of food on, and it's just like crumbles of stale dried cornbread. Just here, getting everybody food before they sit down for their meeting. It's just like shaking her head.
I asked you to put aside casks of wine, so there'll be mulled wine for everyone when we arrive to try and like bring the spirits of the troops back, because I know it's not fun right now, but hopefully like a nice warm cup of wine will make everybody happy again.
Once we get there, yeah.
I don't know. Do you think we should break it out now? Is it that bad?
What's our morale at? Out of character?
10.
And
10.
No.
Oh.
No, they don't even want it. They're like, give it to the commander.
They're high on life.
I think it'll be best if we save that for when we reach our destination.
All right, cool.
And everyone's pretty stress-free too. I think so. We didn't really take that much.
Yeah,
stress.
Because we aren't doing primary missions,
so-
so you can't gain stress. Yeah.
Let's save our reserves of mulled wine for when we get to where we're going. So we don't need to do Liberty. How's everybody doing harm-wise? How's everybody looking?
Bad.
a lot of people took a lot.
Yeah.
There's
What's
a lot
the
of harm,
asset
yeah.
rating here on the high road, Shayna?
The asset rating
0.
is 0.
That's to be expected.
So you are able to make acquisitions. Actually, you cannot acquire assets here.
Oh, really? Nothing.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Wow, really?
So
Sure is.
Antoinette sort of looks around and says, I don't need to listen to word on the street, but the camp seems pretty thin. Do you think maybe we want to pick up a few extra strays?
I think Mal.
Yeah, Mal is like on the table. He has little like meeples that he's carved that represent like all the members of the squads, and he's like moving them around, and he's trying to create full squads. And there definitely are not enough little meeples to create full squads. So he's like moving things around. It's like he's trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle that is missing just far too many pieces. So he is vexed and is like, if we can pick up extra people, that would be, I mean, it depends on our priorities. Time is of the essence. Perhaps we don't have the time to, get these people in and oath sworn, but we are quite low on personnel.
Right.
The only other thing I would say is to is supply assets. Wait, when you say acquire assets, that doesn't include finding recruits?
Why? No, recruiting is its own separate thing.
Okay,
Yep.
but getting supplies is acquiring assets?
I think
Acquiring asset is like adding things like horses or blackshot or laborers, like
But not
adding those.
supplies.
But-
Right. No, supplies are only earned by missions.
Oh, okay.
So I can't boost anything right now.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can't get supplies to boost. Okay, well then, let's just do,
Okay.
I think
Recruiting.
and then
send-
a basic heal, maybe?
Yeah, so we
Or
could.
recruits twice. You can't do the
I
same
can't do the
campaign
same
action.
hit
Okay,
action.
fine, don't do that.
That would be cheating.
Yeah.
You can only do that on acquiring assets in long-term projects. But I think we should send someone out to see who we can get, and then it probably would not hurt us actually to heal ourselves or anybody. And we also have Kita, our mercy, who could maybe any specialist that is especially hurt could help them.
Yeah, so the way that mercies work is that you transfer the harm onto the mercy, and then they heal 1 tick per campaign phase automatically.
Yeah.
So basically, for the next 3 campaign phases, she will not be able to do anything, but you could transfer a level 2 harm from Arun or Peter or Adhikar to
Yeah.
her.
Tanika.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Well, it says if you wound a mercy, one specialist gains an extra healing tick.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
That's it. That's okay.
But I think their wound don't, and it just takes one phase for them to unwound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just every other.
Oh, okay. In that.
So we should just heal, see who the tick would help best, and then
Okay.
throw the mercy at them.
Yeah.
Great.
Do you want me to tell you how harms people are?
I guess it really matters to you, Mal, like who gets the healing, because if like we do rest and recuperation, everyone is going to get a tick, a mark, and a harm row.
I think it depends on. I mean, from here on out, are we only going to be with the Star Fox mission? Should we be like thinking about the harm of? I mean, I guess we should, because these other people can.
There's going to be a final mission at Skydagger.
Yeah,
But I mean, even the
will not-
specialists who. Sorry.
Yeah, they will not take another primary mission.
But they can still take harm on secondary missions.
Secondary.
Yes,
Yeah.
they can
Right.
still take harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Die.
All right. So, I mean, basically, the deal is that Arun has a level 1 and a level 3 with no healing ticks.
Oh,
Adhikar has a level 3 with no healing ticks.
okay.
Tatanika has a level 1, 2 level 2s, and a level 3 that already has 2 healing ticks.
Oh, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the most. Oh, and Slippery has 2 level 1s and 1 level 2, no healing ticks.
So you're saying like if we do a rest and recuperation, there's only maybe a couple that can actually clear their harm?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, so we add 1 to a row for rest and recuperation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll
So,
clear.
So we're really
I mean-
just like patching.
I mean-
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
It'll clear
that's still good, right?
Tatanika's level 3.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right,
and
and then
these
everyone
are-
gets a little closer.
Because
And
she's
these
an
are-
officer.
Yeah, and this is really all that we can do right now. We can only recruit and
Oh, yeah.
and rest and recuperate.
I mean, we can work on our project. Do you want to start a project
we
now?
could start a
We're-
long-term
we're not
project,
gonna-
but
We're not gonna finish it.
Yeah. It seems unlikely that you would finish something unless
Sure.
you just really max
I think
this roll.
it's 2 crits is what you need in order to finish it. So it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Adhikar, there's no options, right? It's his level 3. Tatanika clears her level 3. Pete,
All right, I'm clearing Tatanika right now.
Okay. I'll do. So Adhikar gets a tick. I guess Slippery should get a. Should he clear all of his level 1s?
Yeah, I think so.
Or like 1 tick in level 2? All his level
or
1s?
it could be 1 tick in level 2, and then he gets the mercy, which will clear level 2.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
but right now he's upgrading any level 1 he takes to level 2.
Oh, good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bad. So
I think we should just clear this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear his level 1?
Yep. Done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you
if
doing
using
it,
the
Shane?
mercy is worth it.
I mean,
It
not
is.
using the mercy does
I
no good.
guess, Yeah.
yeah.
Can we use her next?
Yeah, it's part of the rest and recuperation phase.
Did anyone clear a rune? Shane, did you just?
I did not. I didn't touch a rune.
Okay,
I-
so he can either get his lingering distrust taken away or a tick in his level 3 harm, festering bite.
Take the level. That's a level 2, right?
That's a level
3.
Sorry, the former. The lingering
Maybe give him a
distress.
tick, throw the mercy at him, and then fingers crossed he survives, and then next time
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
we
it'll
heal
clear
and he
level-
clears it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, wait. So clear. So I'm not clearing the level 1 harm. We're doing
No.
2 in the level 3.
Yeah.
And then we have Kita
Cool.
stand next to him and take a bite mark shows up on her.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, when she does this, so she touches like her hand to his chest, and then like I think the whole camp is disturbed by this like gut wrenching like scream of agony that she just emits. And you see that like the wound that Arun has suffered is like looks much better, right? Like it was literally festering. It is now just sort of like a bad gash, but all of that, like she now has that wound on her neck,
on her
like in the
neck.
same place.
Oh.
Yeah, and like it went to the same place that it was on Arun, and it is just as bad. And like he steps away feeling a little bit better, not really all the way better, but she is just like left whimpering on the ground in pain, as she like is muttering prayers under her breath.
All right, new orders. That happens in private from now on. We don't do it in the middle of camp anymore.
Well, I think that was in the medic tent. There's not a whole lot of privacy in a military camp.
Yeah. Everybody heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two regiments overheard that.
Audekar begins to minister to her soul, asking if perhaps
Not now. Not now.
Asrika
Okay?
was not
now.
was not the best choice of goddesses.
A mercy is
Definitely not now.
Is a
Adekar's an
priestess of Shreya.
opportunist.
Or of Asrika.
Asrika, yeah.
Yeah.
Really quick question. Oh, sorry. I don't want to mess up this character sheet. Ananika has 1 level 2 harm. Does this clear, or does it? She gets a tick and she needs 2 to clear it.
Ananika is with the other mission team, so she does not get any benefit from this.
Oh, that's right.
Oh shit!
Oh,
They
she's a
don't
level
get-
2.
They don't get downtime.
Yeah, they don't have any
But
downtime.
you said
anymore.
there's some way for them to relieve stress, which I guess we will get to.
Yes.
And then as far as the recruiting, it just says gain up to 5 rookies for the marshal. It doesn't make me roll anything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we choose 5.
Yeah, and then I think you can upgrade it to get soldiers if you have
If
supply.
if I had supply, yeah.
Yeah, you can
we,
boost it.
we don't. So 5 rookies for you, Marshall.
Yeah, that's
Five.
that's a bunch more.
Can you give me them?
points.
Can,
Give me them
they,
sweet, sweet rookies, Shane.
Can
I
they also just
will.
be medics in training?
What squad do
Yeah.
you want me to put them in?
How about can you put 3 in the Ember Wolves,
Hmm.
and then I guess the other 2 in the Star Vipers?
Okay. Yes, and we will have copy of rookie.
Great.
We're just cloning rookies.
That's a long-term project right there.
Rookies with black shot for blood.
Okay, so we're gonna fill the Ember Wolves, and then we're going to put the remainder in the Star Vipers, right?
Yes, please. I like Amber Wolves. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, does that look right, Sally?
Yep. I like to think that someone who's like Mel's assistant comes and just like drops 5 little like meeples on his little on his table, and he can like move them around.
Yeah, actually, so one of your staff comes in and says, "Sir, we have found an abandoned monastery just a mile up the road, and there were some refugees there, and 5 of them have sworn the oath. They aren't in great shape, but they were serving at the point where they were left here, so they have some experience, and they're eager to fight the fight."
This is wonderful news. Eagerness and the oath go a very long way. Experience and being in somewhat raggedy shape are of no matter. We can work with that.
Cool.
I tell Greymane the good news.
I'm thrilled.
Is that what Greymane says?
I got a lot on my mind.
Yeah. Can they die? Okay, great. They can do what we need.
Actually, so let's go back one step. I don't think we actually did time passes, so
Oh yes. So let me
Go
click
ahead,
that.
spend
And we
a food.
did fail that last mission, which gave us another tick.
Correct.
So there are 6. Just a quick see math. Yeah, 6 ticks remaining. And if I crit, which I can't because. So we're fine. We're fine. We're not gonna lose the game, everyone. Don't worry.
yeah, but that means you also can't wait here, right?
Yes.
Because if you add 1 to the time clock, then you risk actually failing
We do.
on your advance.
Oh, it'd
So
be nice
you
to get
have
another
advance.
to get another 5 rookies would be really nice because that does impact But no, that's okay.
It is the burden of command.
The
Greymane.
burden of... Well, I've been like, let's move every single time. So.
I mean, yeah, consider how often you wished you could have stayed behind and you forced the Legion to move, and now you're still at the end and having to make the same decision, you know?
It's okay.
Okay, so back to campaign actions. I-Hsien, Claudette has some...
Claudette? Antoinette.
Wait, sorry, Antoinette. Oh my god.
Antoinette has one spy. It is Egrid, the interrogator, and Egrid interrogates.
You can also use Claudette's ability.
Antoinette.
Please kill me. Yes, you can use Antoinette still counts as a spy.
I keep getting
Yes, cool.
excited.
Yeah, so,
I have an ability.
You basically the only spy that you the only spy that you lost was Crimson Vex and Gale, who went on the mission and became a soldier for you.
And much like the quartermaster, we don't have a ton of options here anyway. So Antoinette, once we're done here in the command tent, is also going to do what she does best and also interrogate. So we'll get 3 questions of any level in addition to whatever we normally get.
Cool. That is
okay.
interesting.
I was gonna say, can we use those for the mission team? Or I guess it doesn't matter because some of it can be met like larger game questions, right?
Yeah. I think
That's what we'll be asking.
I think that's probably what you'll have to do.
Yeah.
Because the next choice we have is advance, Rudy.
Yes, I choose yes.
Okay.
You don't choose we all die in a fire?
I do not choose this. I do
We all
not.
starve
fire.
to death if we don't move. We only have one.
You'll have a perfectly frozen corpse. It'll be like everybody on the way to the summit of Everest.
Don't worry, Cinder King.
No.
Cinder King will heat it up. It'll be fine.
Okay, so we had 0 pressure.
Sweet.
Which would become 1 because time passed, but then reverts back to 0 because of Zora's special ability.
Correct.
So I'm rolling 2d6. We're taking the lower. I have rolled I rolled a 5 and a 6, which means that the 5 gives us 2 ticks.
Cool.
So there are 4 remaining.
Okay.
You know what, Rudy? That didn't
Yes.
kill us.
It did not kill us.
Did not kill us.
Yeah, for once, Rudy, you didn't kill us. Okay, so yeah, Skydagger is named after the tall spire that's jutting into the sky. Its walls are basically built into the side of the mountain, completely spanning the gap, and basically guarding the only pass through those west wall mountains. As you approach it, you can clearly see that there's been troops that have marched through here in the past. You are not the first group to come through, obviously, but you are the ones tasked with holding it. You are not alone either marching into it. There are still some other regiments, tattered remains of regiments that are still trying to make the march, but you are the ones tasked with staying here and holding it, to give them a chance to reform, regroup, repopulate. The keep is of Orite construction. It is of Barton construction, though it is clear that there are some Orite technology tricks that are built into it. So you have things like piping that carry hot water through the halls. You have walkways inside the walls that allow you to allow you to move throughout even when it's snowdrifts are mounting pretty high and it's getting late in fall. I mean, you know 2 ticks have passed, you only have 4 ticks remaining. It is almost winter.
They're like sky bridges.
Sorry,
sky bridges.
Yeah, but they're enclosed so that they're not accumulating, because otherwise they would just accumulate snow and you wouldn't really be able to safely cross them. But they're enclosed.
Or in Minneapolis.
Some of them are heated. Right, there
Heated,
are pipes passing. Well, there's pipes passing through them so that they don't ice.
Oh, wow.
It's like Winterfell.
Those types of tricks. Yeah, exactly. And then also you see you've got very good visibility from here, right between the keep itself that's jutting into the sky, and then some positions on the mountain sides themselves. You've got good range for siege weapons. You've got good angles to see your enemies approaching. As you kind of scan out and look over, like you see there are definitely many avenues to attack this. This is not like an impregnable fortress. It is just a very well constructed one that you have. There's a lower pass that could be a risk. And of course, like you expect that the dead will be throwing themselves at the gates. So as you get there and start getting dug in, more and more of these groups are following, and with them come reports of the Legions of the Dead breaking off from Fort Callisto and giving pursuit to them. And those reports are coming closer and closer behind, right? Like eventually you start to hear like, all through the night we were hearing the like moaning of the Gaunts as they were attempting to scale some of these passes by basically brute strength, right? Like with enough Gaunts and enough time, you will eventually make it up the mountain kind of thing. But like they were nipping at the heels, and as you were kind of getting settled in here, like for all of its majesty and all the wonder of its construction, Skydagger has a lot of work to be done to it, and no one has touched it. Everybody has been happy to escape, and nobody has turned around to like fix any of its problems. So there are a number of tasks that will need to be accomplished. Hopefully you can get to all of them before the dead arrive. Let's go back to Calgon Forest, where I think the last time we left off, the Horned One had just donned the Star Fox as something of like a fur shawl or a fur collar, and was insisting that we begin the ritual. And as she says this, like she kneels down in this little like clearing within the forest, and produces from her pocket a seed that looks like ebony black, almost like it's been charred, like charcoal, right? Like burned. Except that she holds it in two hands, very kind of reverently, and motions all of you to sit. So what as we kind of jump back into like this mission team. I'm sorry, what were they called again, Sally? This was
Operation Standby.
This is Chosen Arrow?
Chosen Arrow, yeah.
Okay. So as Operation Chosen Arrow like kind of sits down, let's talk about who we're all playing for this one. And this is sort of like the in-between scene, right? This isn't actually a mission.
Can I play Ananika? Does anyone mind?
Sure. No.
Okay. I've never played her before.
Oh. Nice.
Well, this is just free play. This isn't like...
No, I know.
Okay, yep. Would
I'll be
anybody
Ash.
like to play... Okay, Ash. Anybody would like to play Red Raging? So there is Red Raging, Azure, Sighing Grove, Sapphire Dancing Tide, and Crimson Vexing Gale.
Crimson Vexing Gale is, of course.
That is the spy.
Former spy. Yeah.
Former spy.
I
I'll play him. Is he a thing? Is he we said he's a recruit though, right? Because
He's a soldier.
No, he's a soldier.
he is a soldier. Oh, okay.
just love my medic so much.
Okay.
Do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Azure.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I might ask you to fill in for other characters as well.
That's fine.
But this is cool. So, it is. So like you are all motioned down, and notably Ananika, the Horned One does not seem to take any notice that you're not a Panyar, because you are the only non-Panyar here.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are following along, she doesn't seem to mind, and so she takes this seed and sets it. She kind of like clears some of the like leaves and detritus from the ground, so that there's like a little patch of soil, and she sets the seed on top of it, and she begins um, singing a song, like an ancient song, one that the Panyar members of the Legion have heard. I think probably like it's the kind of song that like your grandmothers and like great grandmothers know, right, or grandparents, but that like no one, like everyone knows it, but no one really thinks about it.
Or like no one really knows the words exactly. Or...
Yeah. It's like it's a familiar melody, and you remember it from your youth, but you don't really remember ever hearing it, right? Like it has an attention, or it has your attention, and it's this like quiet song that talks about like the like basically the legendary birth of Panya, and how the forest grew from like humble seeds, and it nurtured the Panyar people, as they also grew from humble seeds, and rewarded the Panyar for their caretaking, and gifted them with the like aspects of the animals that make their home beside them. So it's this very like kind of naturalist sort of like spiritual song that goes on for like verse after verse after verse, and like you can kind of feel this magic around you, as like you start to anticipate the words that you've never heard before, and then it sort of draws to a close, and there's just silence in this like little circle of you for 15-20 minutes. Like the horned one is perfectly still. She has her head bowed, like reverently towards the seed, and is saying nothing, and yet still you feel like this magic is pervasive.
Is the Star Fox doing anything?
No, the Star Fox is just like the horned one, almost like perfectly still. And then the horned one then like slowly rises and says that to honor the land we must eat, but first we must hunt. And I think you all gather that this is sort of an old tradition amongst the like Panyar, that like for like a holiday, right? Like you hunt before you feast, right? Like you take from the land in order to give back.
And we are all predators. Snake, cat, lion.
Oh yeah, what is Crimson Vexen Gale's animal?
There's nothing canon, but he is marked. So Rudy, up to you.
Rudy, what is Crimson Vexen Gale's like
what kind
mark?
of spy was he again, I-Hsien? Refresh my memory.
He always he never took harm on a failed mission, so he has a knack for getting out of trouble, and he speaks very, very little.
You might say he has 9 lives.
I was.
Although we already
have
a cat,
say
though.
like a rabbit or something that can like escape quickly, like a hare, like something that is good at running. Or don't they like freeze when they're scared? Maybe that's not good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe another predator, so that we're all predators.
Oh sure, I'll be a
We're
predator.
gonna go
too.
hunt.
What's the biggest one? I'm a lion.
We have
That's
a
heavies.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
I mean not heavies. That's red raging.
Wolf.
What about? Yeah, wolf.
wolf is
All right,
great.
Wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Perfect.
Versus all those other wolves.
That's
I'm
exactly
not
him.
interested in pack behavior. I do it my way. So he's got wolf.
In fact,
nose.
that's the Panyar song. It's my way. We're all like, that's interesting.
So are they wolf ears, or what aspect?
Yes. Everyone's rocking
eyes.
ears, right? I'm thinking, what else?
Nope.
No?
Mm-mm.
All right.
It's an
Eyes, mane, and teeth.
What about special wolf vocal cords that make me howl just like a real
Ooh,
wolf?
that's cool.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
You don't-
interesting.
You don't speak often, but when you
Nice.
do, we know.
Nicely hidden. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Makes him a good spy.
Yeah. And it is nighttime.
Nice.
All right, when she
Um,
says let's hunt, I let loose a wolf
Okay.
howl, and it takes you all by surprise.
Ananika jumps.
Yeah, what
Gasp.
does Ananika make of all this? Because I think the magic is affecting you too, right? Like you're recognizing the magic, but this is, I think, probably less natural feeling to you.
Yeah. Ananika is trying to go with the flow because, she's a cultural relativist, but she has this she also has this trauma of obsessed, right?
Mhm.
We decided that instead of soft, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how that's playing into this, except for the fact that she's wound extremely tightly. And the fact that she's in the middle of an unfamiliar ritual with a bunch of people who have something in common that she does not share is definitely, she is ill at ease. And when Crimson Vexing Gale howls, she physically jumps in place. And I think lets out a small shriek.
Nice. Yeah, so you have been told to hunt. So how do you go about doing that? I think well, everyone but Ananika knows, when you traditionally hunt for these holidays, right? Sometimes people go in groups, and that includes gathering. You don't necessarily have to hunt an animal. You can also hunt for any sustenance, right? But sometimes people go in groups, sometimes people go alone, sometimes they look for large prey, sometimes they look for something small and rarer or more difficult. Same thing if you were looking for a rare mushroom versus a bushel of mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So what do each of you look for as you go hunting, and does anybody go together or alone, or what does this look like?
Once I finish my howl, I just book it into the woods.
Uh,
I have a question. Do we hunt with bows? We're not using guns, right? We're still in the middle of a forest surrounded by enemies. Although the Star Fox can maybe protect us, I think we're all using. But I'm using my bare hands. I don't know about you, but don't use guns. You think of the commander. What would he say?
Should we have a flashback where we know we're going into the woods and we know it's going to be the Panyar are going to be rolling deep, and we get some bows and arrows and stuff?
I dig it.
I know a guy. I have channels, which means I know a guy.
I don't think you need to spend channels for this. Having a bow and arrow is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would they even go?
And hand weapons?
I was gonna say, would they go stick spears only, no steel kind of a thing, true as nature-y as possible?
I mean, Azure is going to hunt differently than just I'm looking for plants and
Sure.
fungi. So I think Azure would just everyone's talking about what should we do? Should we get bows and arrows? And Azure's slips off into the forest and is starting to hunt for specific mushrooms and edibles.
I think if you're open to it,
Yeah.
I think that Silver Whispering Glade, the priestess,
Oh, yeah.
will follow you.
Yeah, I slowly walk backwards. I make eye contact with Silver, and we just kind of she follows me.
And actually, I'm going to make this a little easier on you, Sally.
Yeah.
Red Raging will come up to Ananika because she Red Raging is the protector, right?
Mhm.
And I think this is a case where it is saving face. So she will approach Ananika and say, I can teach you how to do this. Come with me.
I've never so much as held a bow. I'm really more of a sword and shield or a battle axe type of fighter, but whatever you can show me would be great.
Well, what are you most interested in providing?
Moral support. I don't think of myself as much of a hunter, but I am, I'm a leader, and I would like to lead you in morale. I'd like to spiritually lead you. Please don't make me hunt.
What are you wearing right now?
Ananika, oh my God. So sorry. She favors earth tones, almost never seen without her gray neckerchief that's embroidered with gold thread, and she wears heavy bracelets of braided metal on both wrists. And she dresses in Zemyati menswear. She doesn't wear women's clothes because she feels it's too hard to fight in the women's traditional dress of Zemya.
Is she wearing what kind of armor is she wearing right now?
Leather. She's carrying a shield.
Yeah,
Okay.
what was our kit previously? I guess it could change to whatever.
Yeah, it can change.
Oh yeah,
It's
it was
fine.
normal last time, so
Right. So it's just medium armor.
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, and she's definitely would like to communicate to Red Raging that she really would like to not embarrass herself by having to learn a new skill tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So Red Raging starts Red Raging is wearing similar because I think Red Raging also came normal in order to because she moves silently for free, I believe. Or
Yeah,
isn't
and
that one of
normal
her
she
traits?
moves. Yeah.
Yeah. So she motions towards your chest armor and starts unstrapping her own. And she says, "This is the first trick. Carry less. It could be a bit."
Okay. So I'm gonna place my shield down and I guess take off my I guess leather armor is pretty I can still be quiet and lithe in leather, right? Or not really?
I think leather is pretty creaky, actually.
Okay.
It's got to be very, very well maintained and oiled in order to be particularly silent. So.
Okay. Well, this definitely isn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take off my armor and drop my shield.
Okay. And then I think my read on Red Raging is that Red Raging would prefer to hunt bigger prey. So Red Raging, and seeing as it is nearly a full moon, Red Raging will know that there are going to be deer and other larger animals moving tonight because they can see in the darkness with the full moon. So she is going to start looking for game trails in order to wait for deer. And so yeah, I think she leads you into the forest, and I think the pair of them kind of disappear.
Cool.
And that leaves Ash and Sapphire Dancing Tide, right? Sapphire Dancing Tide.
Yeah.
So both of them are Panyar travelers. So Ash just sort of waits with the horned one while everyone else dashes off into the forest. And then when it's just him and Sapphire, he sort of looks over at the horned one and then back at Sapphire Dancing Tide and says, "My first inclination was to hunt stag, but maybe we'll go for boar instead, given our company." And then he'll say, "And we will stick to the old ways." And I will assume the Sapphire Dancing Tide knows exactly what that means.
So Sapphire Dancing Tide, I think, normally carries a pole arm of some sort, and he sets that carefully down in the grass and draws a long knife.
Perfect. And
pulls on a pair of gloves. The old ways.
And Ash hunts with no weapon. And then they head off looking for a different kind of game trail.
Perfect. Okay,
You have
everybody
to go boar unarmed.
Well, so the way that you do this is that you have to the old way. Of course, everyone knows that the old way is that you have to wrestle the boar.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And only when you have wrestled it into submission are you permitted to slit its throat humanely.
Yeah, except that Ash will unleash his fangs and then bite into its neck.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The old ways.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get fortune rolls to see how this all goes.
Oh boy.
From all of us?
I'm very nervous.
Yeah, for every party.
I just have to just roll fortune.
I don't think I have access to.
How do we?
Oh, I can share the sheets.
Oh no, I
Yep.
do.
How do?
Oh yeah, I gave it to everybody.
sorry.
So I think it's just what skill is most relevant to what you were doing.
Skirmish.
Scout is a natural one.
Yes.
Mm,
Research is probably a good one for you, Amber.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
I got nothing and nothing, so
Nothing and nothing. You
unless
got,
I'm
you got-
marshalling.
You got skirmish. You're gonna.
No, I'm
Neither?
on a Oh, I can use red ragings.
It's the group, right? Lead a group action.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, like you said that you just want to be here for moral support. So
Yeah.
I think like
So I could
I
do
think-
marshal.
marshal or consort would be fine.
Okay.
Shouldn't everybody have
martial.
skirmish? Why does Ananika not have skirmish?
Yeah, no, she doesn't. I don't know.
She wields other soldiers.
Oh, because
Yeah.
she never does it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's more of a other.
Like her skills are like so unimportant because she is always leading other people and always only takes one.
I thought everyone gets
stress.
a base something. I forget.
She gets shoot.
Okay.
No, rookies get 3 dots. That's it.
Yeah.
Ananika rolled a 1.
I got a 5 for Azure.
5 for scout.
2 for a skirmish to kill some bunny rabbits. When you're a lone wolf, you unfortunately can't go for deer. You have to just get like wolves and like squirrel or rabbits and squirrels and stuff like that.
some shrews.
Yeah.
Some moles.
I'm very adept at stews and making little meat go a long way.
Okay, so this is fortune, so it's not like there's terrible consequences. This is just finding out roughly how well you did. So I think everybody struggles a little bit. In a way that
The old ways before we learn how to use guns.
I can't shoot this plant that I'm trying to find right now.
So Amber, has Azure ever been to Talgon Forest? Because maybe it's that you don't know this forest
I
at all.
don't know this forest at all. Let's
Yeah.
say, like I'm not familiar. I'm looking for where I think things should be, but this is not the right foliage, and I don't really get what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. So you're able to bring a little bit, but kind of limited supply. And Rudy, you had the same problem?
I had the same problem.
So what was it that caused you to come in like with only a couple rabbits instead of like the trail of game that you were expecting to collect?
Let's see. I'm normally a day hunter, and it's nighttime.
Is wolf vocal cords, not wolf eyes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And the
That checks
squirrels
out.
don't come out at
I'm
night.
just imagining your character running into trees and then howling.
Like really enthusiastic, running into the woods and smack right
Yeah.
into a tree. Then like, oh shit! I hope no one saw me. Oh god! Oh god! Just crawling.
Ow!
I think he got another one, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I-Hsien, what is you got a 4 or a 5?
5, yeah.
So you had a mixed success. So what is your sort of mixed success look like? Why is it mixed?
I think we come back with a boar, but worse for wear. It wasn't an easy kill. We didn't quite work together in the way that you do when a young Panyar sent out into the forest as a hunting party. Right? We've never actually hunted together, the two of us, and like honestly, it's probably Ash's fault because he hasn't hunted with someone else in like a decade. So he was just sort of he was good. Sapphire was good. As a team, not amazing. Both were like, I'm going to go in for the kill, and then sort of like smashed into each other a couple of times. So Boar almost got away. Maybe someone probably got nicked / fanged, just a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minor,
Okay.
some minor goring.
Right. And Sally, what happened with Ananika and Red Raging? You also had a mixed success.
Yeah, I think Ananika, who is just not really totally in her right mind. You know, she's on edge, as I mentioned before. She's extremely focused on accomplishing the mission, whatever that means. And this whole like hunting ritual feels like not just a weird detour, but also like maybe it's gonna interfere with like accomplishing the task at hand. And so she is not calm. She's used to really going into hairy situations that could be dangerous, like very calm, very centered, very collected, and she's none of those things. So I think like a few times Red Raging was about to like close in on something like a deer or something like that, and Ananika like stepped on a twig or like coughed or something like that, or just like asked, like yelled a question at Red Raging, like a good question, but like bad timing and too loudly, and it threw off Red Raging like every single time.
Okay. So I will say something, since you're very on edge about this is something that you would definitely be paying attention to. And maybe like the rest of you, it like this feels more natural, so you kind of give yourself over to the hunt and to the ritual. But for Ananika, like you are on edge and you notice that there don't seem to be any signs of like the passing of any of like the various troops that have moved through here, right? Like, you know that you're behind enemy lines, but you also have been told that like there were always going like the risk of patrols or just random like groups of like gaunts or hexed or various like anybody could be marching through this forest. Like, it is basically just crawling because there are lots of like separated little splinter groups and different things, right? And like you've seen no evidence of that, like much less like you certainly haven't crossed paths with any of them, and you haven't really seen any like telltale signs of like tracks or footprints or like areas where they might have camped or like hastily put out fires and things like that where you normally would. So that is also kind of lingering in the back of your mind. Maybe that's a little bit what you're wondering about occasionally out loud.
Yeah, I think Ananika would say something at some point to Red Raging about that.
Red Raging, yeah. So you do that, and Red Raging's like, "Shh, we're tracking it."
Okay, but I'll ask you after, but it's important. It's urgent. I should no. Okay, but I'll wait. Okay. But it is important. So just
okay,
we should.
What is it?
Well, I noticed that there doesn't seem to be anyone else around, and it was my understanding.
That's the point. We're hunting.
Right. No, I know that, but it was my understanding that there were lots of other troops in the area. I don't see any. I see no tracks of boots or vehicles. We seem to be oddly isolated.
This is one of the Horned One's blessings. We should just accept it and complete the ritual.
Okay. Yes, a blessing. Oh, okay. Well, I defer to you. Well, I don't defer, but I understand that this is an unfamiliar situation, and it sounds like everything is in order. As long as I just want to call it to your attention. As long as you feel okay about it, I feel okay about it.
Ananika.
Yeah.
We how long have we been working together?
Oh, quite some time now. I can't
that
barely
was the
remember.
Most words you have ever said to me?
Yeah. Well,
could we
thank
maybe
you. I
save those for later?
Yeah. Yes. Understood. I just was thinking. Well, okay. Yeah. Shh.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
And the pair of you eventually make it back to camp. Rather than having sort of a prize stag, you are bringing in sort of a smaller size doe, but still a sufficient sacrifice. You are eventually able to get on the trail of a deer and track it, and ultimately Red Raging is competent enough with a bow and arrow from close enough range that you are able to successfully deliver your obligation to the hunt.
Phew.
Despite your best efforts. So I think at this point, like, everybody starts to come back. It is now well after midnight. Like, this hunt has seemingly taken, a day almost, like, by the time you come back, and yet it's been a few hours. Like, the moon hangs high in the sky now. Again, not quite a full moon, but definitely a bright moon, or at least as bright as that kind of sickly broken moon can be. And once everybody has returned, the Horned One begins laying out, like, the offerings as though they are a feast. As each thing that you bring back, she, like, kind of arranges around the seed, and now she begins a prayer. She makes a prayer directly to Nyx, in which she is sort of like imploring Nyx to offer the moon's blessing, and to sort of continue on the moon's mission, right? Like, to do as the moon has always done, to bear that burden, to bring light in the night, and to sleep during the day, to like, give hope to those who fear, to give shadow to those who require it. All those kinds of, like, broad sort of prayers. And then when she completes, sort of each of you is invited to offer your own prayer to Nyx. So who would like to go first?
Ananika will not be going first.
Yeah, Ananika, you should try it. Oh man.
So I think Ash will step up as someone who was formerly very religious. He knows all of the proper rites and intonations, the way to, like, stand and kneel and bow, and he performs all of these. And, like, looking at the Horned One, he'll say, yes, we implore the goddess of the night to awaken, to restore herself the way that she restored so many of us, and the way that I know that she will restore the forest. Though times are dark right now, the darkness is where those of us from the forest thrive. And so I know that darkness is a shelter, not something to be feared. And then he'll step back and let others add.
Who's next?
Crimson Vexengill steps forward with his string of rabbits and other small varmints, and awkwardly says,
Small string of rabbits.
"Small string of rabbits. For
Yeah,
Nyx,
just like fine rabbits.
for Nyx, for you all, for Panyar," and just steps back after putting those forward. Not a talker.
Azure isn't either. So Azure's, like, sweating bullets right now, aka Amber. I think after Crimson steps away, Azure will walk up with her, like, meager findings of the edible plant she was looking for, and kind of piggybacking off of what Ash said, says something along the lines of, may Nyx return and her brilliant line shine down, and something about we may see her light once again, and then walks away.
Sapphire Dancing Tide is the one who's sort of like fervently devoted to the priestess.
Mhm.
So I think he'll come up and basically say, he's like a true believer right now. So he'll say, we welcome your return, and we are prepared to do anything that is necessary in order to secure both our nation, our forest, and our goddess.
Ananika is gonna like look around and see if it's okay for her to step forward. She looks at Red Raging to see, like, she kind of motions with her head, like, can I do this too?
I think Red Raging gives you like an encouraging, like, not shove in the back, but like puts a hand on like the center of your back and gives you just kind of like a gentle push forward.
Okay. So Ananika steps forward and isn't really sure what to do and how to participate, and also is aware that she really made it difficult for Red Raging to complete her hunt. So she's going to take out her little dagger that she keeps on her, which many Zemyati carry on them for swearing blood oaths and sealing contracts. And she's just going to like make a little cut in her palm and like offer a little bit of her own blood and lower her head and say a prayer in Zemyati, just a sort of a generic, like the kind of thing you would say to like before a meal or before a feast or before a celebration, just like a generic, rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, yay God type of thing. And she'll say it, but with much more gravity.
Yeah.
And she'll say it in Zemyati, and she'll let her blood kind of drop over onto the ground, and then she'll just, with her head bowed, she'll step back.
Would you like to do Red Raging's?
Oh yeah, sure. Yes, I would. Okay, Red Raging is going to step up. She's going to get on her knees, put her palms on the ground, and say the following words. She's going to say a prayer to Nyx that maybe is something that is kind of no longer commonly uttered, because it's thought that Nyx is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to repeat it as if Nyx is there and never went anywhere. And it's just kind of her way of making it like setting an intention for like what she hopes they're all about to do, led by the Horned One. And then step back.
And then I think Silver Whispering Glade is the last one. And she steps forward and grabs Sapphire Dancing Tide's hand with like one arm, and then grabs Ananika's hand and kind of leads everybody a little bit forward, which I believe is Ananika's bleeding hand, which is perfect. And like kind of encourages everybody to like form a circle around the steed and these offerings, and says, the night is darkest before the dawn, and when there was no hope, you gave us something to believe in. We pray that our sacrifice is not in vain, and that those who have given everything to give us this chance, or to give us this opportunity, will find their eternal rest, and that you may guide us such that your own sacrifice was also not in vain. And with that, the Horned One sort of steps forward and takes a bite of the mushrooms, I think, that I-Hsien Grove has started. And you are, that is the beginning of what is a humble but sort of heartfelt feast. And as you're eating it, like, you realize like this food has not been cooked, and yet like it has a magic to it, right? Like this whole aura around you is like something you've never felt, right? Like maybe you've heard of the magic of mercies, and like you've been in Zora's presence, but like and actually some of you have seen the grove, right, that like the Star Fox had manifested, and like all of this feels so much more like powerful than any of those little magics. And yeah, I mean, like you eat this meal, and at the end of it, the horned one stands up, um and picks up the seed and turns to you and says, "We have completed the first part. We must now find a place to plant this before the full moon. And when we plant it on the full moon, then we will wait. And hopefully Nyx has heard our prayers and will return. We should start moving. This magic will not last forever, and we may be, they may find us sooner rather than later now, but I'm sure you have questions. I will answer them as we go." And the like as she picks up the seed and holds it, you see that it is like no longer like it was like a, right, it was like a charcoal black seed, like maybe the size of a walnut, and you can all look at it in a shaft of moonlight. Like it has the seed itself has split a little bit, and there is just the faintest like hint of something growing out of it now, which is why it needs to be planted soon. But she takes it and she turns to Red Raging and says, "You, of all of us, you are the protector. Can you also protect this gift?" And since I'm playing Red Raging, I guess I'm talking to myself.
Oh.
Or Sally. I mean, Sally, do you want to play Red Raging for this?
Sure.
Yeah. So she offers it to you.
And I put out both of my hands, and I say I can protect it, and I put it in a little pouch that I put on an inside pocket. Oh, and my Red Raging wears that cloak made of softened tree bark, and I'll say there's like an inside pocket, and I tuck it in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And she kneels down briefly and sticks like her thumb in the soil, which is now also like kind of this like wet night soil mix of the like animal blood that you have brought to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like takes it and just puts a mark on your forehead, and says like a simple blessing for you, as she does that.
Cool. Maybe just put a pin in this in terms of Red Raging's heroic deed. Perhaps the Horn One, I'm saying this like above the table, perhaps the Horn One would like to give Red Raging a third name at some point. Just saying.
Oh yeah, sure. Just carry a seed and get a third name. It's that easy, huh?
Red Raging water carrier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So like now, as she has said this, as you are all kind of grabbing your gear, I think putting armor back on and getting ready to move, like you can feel like what was that enveloping magic is starting to sort of dissipate. Like the ritual is wearing off, and there is that sense of presence and malice that now surrounds you again in the forest at night. Especially, I think Ananika was very in tune to it. Like this feels like there have been other things here. are not necessarily here now, but like this feels like a populated forest, not like this sort of like enchanted grove that you had this feeling of as you were moving through it earlier.
Ash has basically no kit with him, so while everyone else is packing up, he begins to sort of come out of what almost was like a mild reverie, where now suddenly he's alert again. He's like wary as he normally is. He's scanning. I mean, we're in the middle of forest, right? So he's basically like scanning trees, and then he begins sort of doing his typical like ranging, several dozen yards away from everyone else, just to sort of keep an eye on the surroundings. And then basically, is like, with military motions, is like, all right, like let's get back into formation and let's move.
Yep.
This is a march.
Cool. So with that, the horned one will march with you. She is staying in her human form, which again is like sort of this like woman with small antlers from her forehead, and just kind of wearing like, actually I think like I said rags last session, but I think it is probably something similar to that tree bark cloak that you wear, Red Raging, but just sort of very simple, humble kind of clothes that are very worn and earthy, but functional. So this is sort of a chance to talk to her as you are moving sort of now as you've gotten all your stuff packed up. Like dawn is breaking, right? Like the first little like stabs of daylight are beginning to enter the sky. It's a new dawn, as it were.
So Ash, as they're walking, we'll say, we need to plant the seed before the full moon, but where should we be planting this seed? Are we looking for a spot?
Yes, though perhaps we are just following the path. And she actually, like as you say this, she takes the star fox and like lifts it from her shoulders and like sort of in a bundle hands it to Red Raging. And as like as she hands this animal off, like it kind of crawls up along her arm and across her shoulders as well, and takes the same sort of mantle, and the horned one says, Red Raging, simply follow what the fox tells you, and you will lead us to where Nyx has decided we must plant her seed.
Okay, I will.
And you know where to go. Like you know what
Nice.
direction to go. You don't necessarily know what's between here and there, but you know when you're going the right direction. Like you just have like an empathic link to the Star Fox that tells you where to go.
Nice.
What direction is it?
It is. I always fuck up east and west. It is northwest, which is deeper into the forest.
Yes.
Okay, and the opposite direction, basically, of Skydagger.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Also, like the opposite direction of the last known locations of the Broken and the majority of the armies. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Ash basically orders as fast a march as we can. There's no time to waste.
Cool. A day passes, you march. There are a couple close calls where there are still troops moving through these woods, right? And like you are able to at certain points the horned one will like shapeshift, as she has been rumored to do, and you have maybe never seen. But she will actually transform herself into a bird. She likes ravens. And when she does that, like she will sort of fly off and scout a bit, perhaps come back, guide you in a different direction, and then like kind of revert into her form as you walk. And you are able to like you cross enough like camps that have only recently been put out that you realize she is sort of definitely maneuvering you around whatever threats are in the forest. And yeah, so the next night you make camp, and she tells you like we are able to make a fire here. She like I think you're able to find like sort of a rocky outcropping that will hide the light. And she's like, the immediate area is safe. We can light a flame tonight.
Cool.
Then Sapphire Dancing Tide, as since we don't technically have any rookies anymore, as the person who was the rookie
Right.
when we came on this mission in the first place.
The rookie by rank, not by
Right, exactly.
by playbook.
Right, and the rookie like by kit, right? Because he brought the cooking supplies. He starts the fire.
Okay. So, Ash, you are, I have gathered, you are the one who cares for secrets the most, and yet you have asked me nothing. Are you not curious as to what's happening?
I'm very curious, but I also know sometimes it's best not to know. Plausible deniability, we call it in the trade.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think it is better for us to know what we're getting ourselves into, I welcome any information. Where are we going? What will we do when we get there? What will be required of us? What news of the Cinder King?
I mean, that's not a bad question.
Actually, it's a good person to ask. Yeah.
The Cinder King is a fool. The Cinder King has played right into our hand. He is fixated on punishing us by burning our home, but he has fallen for the trap.
All forests grow back.
It is the way of nature. From the burning forest will grow grass, and from the grass will rise trees, and from those trees will grow the forest of Panyar again. The forest of Panya again. And with its burning, he has released its magic, and we have collected it.
He did not kill it. He simply set it free.
He thinks he killed it. He could have killed it, but he made a mistake. Do you know what the Battle of Ettenmark truly was? Has Zora told you how much has she entrusted you?
Zora tells us very little.
Minimally. All of us roll our eyes.
Have you spent much time with her, or do you just communicate through the air?
I prefer to keep my distance. She is a bit terrifying, though oddly
as
alluring.
likely to stab you as to give you any useful information. Yes.
Yes. Well, she is sometimes a blunt instrument, but other times extremely sharp. She orchestrated the Battle of Ettenmark as a cover for a more important mission.
Oh, dang.
She orchestrated humanity's greatest loss.
Indeed. Do you understand what that would take? Do you understand the cost that she has paid for that?
I seem to recall she's the one who destroyed Dar. So
that is a rumor.
Perhaps it's not particularly new for her.
No, but you would be foolish to think it does not weigh upon her. She is chosen, but unlike me, she is still part human.
I haven't seen much of that.
Oh.
Somewhere like far away, Greymane is like,
That's my boy.
I hated it. So she continues on. She says, sorry, pop filter got knocked. That was bad passive voice. I knocked my pop filter. Now it's a mess. Okay.
Good edit.
So she explains, you are the one who's lost faith, are you not?
Lost?
When the moon broke?
Well, I would say faith lost me. The moon broke. I don't know if you were here for that, but we all saw it. It was in the sky.
Mm-hmm. I remember. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my sister literally killed and brought back to life a creature of pure evil, an abomination, a wretch that needed to be put down. And that was the purpose of Ettenmark. We have not talked about this, but we killed Moonscourge at Ettenmark. We freed what divinity... We freed Nyx's divinity from Moonscourge by killing her.
Wow.
And now that he burns Panya, he restores that magic to my sister.
So you purposefully killed your fellow chosen?
Oh, no. I killed the broken Moonscourge.
Huh.
So the way that a breaking works, this is what we have learned.
Is Asher taking notes?
Yeah. Like you see, like I'm scraping like beans and scooting closer.
Right. Ash sees this. He's like, okay, good.
Yeah, I'm taking notes. So go on. Broken. You were saying?
You see how the dead work? Yes, they are.
Mockeries of life.
Yes, mockeries of life, but just a little bit of humanity trapped inside. Yes.
Yes.
Just that faintest recollection, the reflex of acting human, an abomination, but still somehow just a little bit. Yes.
Yes, not merely an automaton.
That is also how the broken work. So Nyx was trapped. The divine spark of Nyx was trapped inside Moonscourge, perverted, corrupted, an abomination, and yet trapped. So we simply freed her by killing Moonscourge. And did we sacrifice the armies of 5 nations to do it? Yes. But the chance to resurrect a dead god, a lost god, my sister, I would have paid twice the price. And Zora agreed.
So you're
And
saying that
Shreya agreed.
So you're saying that Nyx didn't truly die, but part of her was still alive, trapped. Well, both in the forest, but also inside Moonscourge.
She couldn't die. Truly. She's divine.
So just trapped.
But trapped, and now she's freed. She can be reborn here on the earth.
So there are no more parts of her that are still trapped.
Exactly. She just needs the power. She needs to gather the power in order to return. And by burning the forest, the Cinder King has walked right into our trap.
Huh.
Huh.
And how will we unite the pieces of Nyx?
Well, we will, in a day's time, hopefully, we will plant the seed. We will plant it under the full moon. One moment. Let me refresh myself on moon phases.
Waxing, waning.
Gibbous.
Gibbous.
We will plant it under the full moon, and it will grow as the full moon wanes to nothing. And if it works, if she is strong enough, if we are strong enough, then when the new moon is born, so too will Nyx.
As a baby or as fully formed Nyx?
As a
'Cause
baby, I mean that's
kind of important to fight the Cinder King.
26 years later, she'll be ready.
51 years later, she'll just be sipping tea while mommy and daddy fight.
So Ash does some sort of quick math in his head and then says, does that mean that while we are waiting to see if Nyx is strong enough, that we still need to hold the pass at Skydagger?
Yes, Skydagger is important. That is perhaps the biggest risk that we took, is that the counterstrike from the Cinder King will simply overrun the Eastern nations before Nyx is able to accumulate her power and before we can mount enough of a defense in order to turn back the tide.
Yes,
But-
if Skydagger falls, then by the time Nyx is reborn, all that's left is the Cinder King, Broken, Hordes of Undead, and Nyx.
And me. And you.
Oh, we get to live. Okay, cool.
For a while. It is not without risks, but we were never going to win without her. The ability to master the night is simply too powerful, especially against the Cinder King. It's why he made a point to break her in the first place.
I understand long cons. This is perhaps the longest one I've ever heard of.
It's only been 6 months.
Okay, deep cons, perhaps.
Well, keep in mind, we are not human. We are gods. Unlike Zora, unlike Shreya, I am not I am not simply a manifestation of divine power. I am the Horned One. There is no Horned One who can grant power other than me. Do you understand? I am not Shreya. I do not worship Asrika.
I understand. This is what our this is the way that our grandparents and our sires spoke of you. So I would say then we are assured of victory if we have a god and a half at least on our side.
Well, that, and if valor holds.
I assure you it always does.
Any other questions? Can Shane translate anything that isn't clear?
Can Shane explain moon phases and how long it takes?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So we have to protect.
the moon cycles every 4 weeks,
Okay.
right? So you go from new moon to full moon. That's waxing. That takes 2 weeks, and then full moon wanes into nothing, and that's 2 weeks.
And that's
then you
new
have
moon.
the new moon.
And do we know where in the cycle we are?
You're like a day or two from a full moon. Yeah,
Mhm.
From a
that's
full
why
moon,
you're.
okay.
Yeah.
And then is it the next full moon that we get another Nyx?
No.
month?
So Nyx will be reborn with the new moon.
Oh, okay, so 2
Oh,
Oh,
weeks.
with the
Okay.
new moon.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's
okay.
you will
2
yeah.
weeks.
Dope. Okay.
And if you are curious, yes. Also, once we plant the seed, I do not think that even my magic will be able to hide its location.
Oh boy.
We will have to hold it, and I am certain that
Oh.
as much as Breaker is looking for us, as much as Render is looking for us, we will be found.
Double siege.
Ugh.
Double
A
siege.
siege on 2 fronts. We took an impossible task and made it 2 times as hard.
Oh man.
Try to think of some.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, we take the recruit action.
we rope up some woodland animals.
Yeah, hundreds of woodland critters flood into your camp. They're squirrels with tiny pitchforks.
Yeah, we get the moles to dig trenches and then line it with spikes.
Will
I want to start a long-term project.
hedgehog spikes? Yeah. Will the horned one stay with us to defend?
Oh yes,
Oh, good.
absolutely.
Oh, thank God.
I will not be able to. Well, I expect that Breaker may send a lieutenant,
Huh.
but Render must ensure that this deed is done because it is his failure that has allowed this to
Yeah.
happen.
Did
Render will be here.
Render
I fear that
himself.
Breaker may come to steal his glory.
Yeah.
Greymane is going to be so jealous.
I don't think the Horned One has a specific relationship with Render, right? That was Zora.
Not. I don't think.
Okay.
Not recently. No.
Gotcha.
Shane, did you say that the Horde one isn't really a chosen, but has their own divinity?
Yeah. So the way that most chosen work is that a god nominates a person and infuses them with divine power.
Right.
They achieve a task and then they burn out and die. And that's where Adhikar is carrying around the thumb bone of a chosen, right? That burned out.
Mm-hmm.
The
Except
Zemyati,
Zora is the exception, right? She never burned out.
yeah, the Zemyati are chosen of the living god, which never burn out and have never been chosen twice, right? So the living god chose, I think 11 chosen thousands of years ago. Some of them have died. Zora is one who has not, and either that means that she has not achieved her purpose or simply will not burn out. And the Panyar gods, goddesses, Nyx and the Horned One, manifest themselves on Earth
Okay.
rather than choosing a mortal and infusing them. They themselves are manifest on Earth. So this is an actual goddess that you are speaking to, not the chosen of a goddess, though they're treated as chosen.
Okay. Because, I think Azure was when overhearing the conversation that Ash was having with the Horn One, heard the part where it's like, I can bestow power to others kind of thing. And so Azure's mind is like, she wants to ask, but doesn't really know how to ask. Maybe she could help bestow something on us, and she will not do that. I know that's going to be a bad ask.
A blessing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not just going to ask for some of her blood?
No. Oh, okay, look.
You gotta wait till she's sleeping before you go.
Okay, look. No, I'm not going to do that.
Have I... yeah, so you spend the night and you all clear 4 stress.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
So when you ask, she says, have I not brought you peace?
Well, now that I
through
look
your
at
night
my
terrors?
now that I look at my chart, yes.
Are there
Okay.
other blessings you would ask of me, my daughter?
Better shoot.
I here's the thing about Azure, right? I think she herself she's just forgotten her religion kind of thing, right? She's been so far removed for a while. So it's she knows that she shouldn't, but there's a part of her that really wants to. And so I think she's just going to clam up and go, no, it's fine.
Azure, come to me.
Oh God.
She
Literally.
So she takes in a similar way to what she did to Red Raging.
Mhm.
She clears a little space in the soil. And actually interesting, kind of following along what Ananika did, she cuts herself and allows some of her blood to drip into the earth, and takes that same sort of wet soil, and gives you a similar mark. And in turn, she will kind of take a handful of soil and give each member of the party a mark on their forehead, and you all gain an advance, which
Free
you have all
advance.
already gotten that free advance.
Oh, right.
But
Oh,
that
yeah.
is narratively,
Oops.
that is your
Okay.
blessing from the Horned One. You
Gotcha.
have all gotten a
Spend
free
that.
advance, which is why you now have all soldiers and no rookies.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, I forgot to spend
So
that.
Sapphire
on
Dancing Tide
everything.
definitely was cooking.
Oh, no, wait, I
previously.
did.
Yeah. Sorry, I realized that I told you that at the end of last session so that you could do it in between sessions, but we didn't narratively get to why we
I'm
did
glad I could present you this opportunity, Shane.
that. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Is there anything else you would ask of me? Other than honesty and information and power.
What lieutenant do you think the Breaker will send? You said a lieutenant, right? Not an elite.
I said a lieutenant.
Yeah.
She says, "Well, I know which one it will not be,"
The one we killed.
and she gives you kind of a grin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I give her a wink. But that's not answering my question at all.
I fear that it may be the Chimera.
Boo.
We've not met that one before.
You
Yes?
have not.
Oh, okay.
So the Chimera is sort of an experiment in like
Yeah.
shape shifting, and is sort of like an amalgamation of a bunch of animal traits in one very, very angry form. Oh, sorry, that's an infamous.
Oh.
My bad. It's the wolf. Bed the wolf, a 9-foot tall wolf-headed beast man who shrugs off most wounds and is always surrounded by a circle of 5 shadow witches who make sure his mental bindings never slip lest his rage turn instead on breaker.
Okay,
Ooh.
keep the
Oh.
witches.
Get the
Get
witches.
the witches. We got that black powder
Unle-
shot
Yeah, unleash the beast.
or the special
Red Raging could take him.
piercing- I also need
yeah.
that armor.
Can she just kill all the witches at once?
Totally.
Just
Cool.
scoop them,
Let's do that.
suplex them,
Mm-hmm.
Suplex him.
scoop.
She's gonna push herself off a springy bush, as if it were the ropes on a wrestling ring, and just
The people's elbow,
exactly.
the cat folks elbow.
Yeah.
Then
Um,
I think we have our orders.
Indeed. We should rest. And tomorrow we will continue to follow wherever Nyx guides. And let's take a break.
Cool.
So, be back at 9.
Yes. 9 on
Cool.
the
So,
dot.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. We're back. Yay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. We were just planting
Stay
a seed
while
and trying
and
to.
listen.
We were just trying to resurrect the dead goddess Nyx.
Stop clicking identify.
I'm sorry, I just read what Sally put in chat.
I
and Does
know.
it really say steepled?
Yeah.
Sorry, we have to do a quick
They're
news
French.
break. Wizards of the Coast is announcing a new D&D game tomorrow, and from Took Studios' website, this yet to be announced title is steepled in classic D&D lore.
I'm going to guess what it is.
Steepled.
Not
Based
the
on their
word they were
previous
going
game,
for.
it's going to be a remake of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which was a top-down melee-focused brawler. So that's
But
what
that,
it's
that
going
was
to be.
just that was just a Gauntlet Legends knockoff.
Yes, and their only game this company's released, Livelock, is the same. So
Great.
that's
Get
my-
ready to hit jump over and
That's
over
my
again. 'cause
guess.
You walk just a tiny bit faster that way.
Yeah. So
It's dodge. You just dodge.
save the VOD. Clip this. Clip this. Sarah, you in chat? Clip this. Okay.
Okay. All right, shall we?
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, you go to sleep for the night, and the next day is much the same. Following the Star Fox that is guiding Red Raging, following Red Raging's directions, and sort of helped along by Ash's wisdom and pathfinding, as well as the Horned One's ability to kind of scout ahead very discreetly, as she simply changes into an animal, often a bird. And you get to a site, and once you arrive there, it almost seems inevitable. So you have all heard that when the moon broke from the sky, that bits of it came crashing down to the earth. And there are, rumors that pieces have landed in various places. Sort of, the kind of like gold rush sort of, what if you strike it rich kind of like stories that you tall tales almost, right? And yet here you are, in the shadow of what is maybe the biggest like meteorite moon shard, I guess you might call it, that you have ever seen. It has landed in the forest, and sort of juts out. It probably is 20 feet out of the earth, and is thoroughly buried in it. And like it has sort of cut down the like as it entered, as it fell, it has certainly cut down the area immediately around it, opening up a gap in the canopy where, of course, you might be able to plant such a tree. And yeah, I mean, there is like we're going to get into our primary mission here, as you like kind of arrive there, and make camp for yourself, knowing that this is the spot that you will have to fortify and defend. We should talk a little bit about how you spend your time, because tonight you will be planting this seed and hoping that it grows in the intervening 2 weeks until the new moon, because tonight is, of course, a full moon. So what do you do as we get here? We can go ahead and call this mission phase, and I will we'll skip ahead to the action, of course, and use an engagement rule later, but we can go ahead and treat this as mission phase now.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead and pick your characters that you'll be playing.
Whoever is playing Ananika, we get additional die roll to engagement because I took strategist on her last advance. So that'll be awesome.
To sway when acquiring assets. Oh, when do you do the engagement roll? Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
The second half, which is very strong because engagement
Very
roll
good.
is
Almost so good you should have left her behind. Well, you
she
didn't
can
have
only
it,
go in
so
one
it's
second.
fine.
She can only go in one secondary. So
Yeah.
all right.
I will take Ash.
Yes, I will play. So we should play all the specialists. There's no reason to play soldier.
That's why we designed it.
Yes. All right.
That's how we designed it. Yeah.
Sally, you can choose if you want to play Red Raging.
I can't decide. I think I kind of want to still play Ananika, unless
I'm gonna be honest. I
want...
don't really know how Red Raging works. I've never played her, and I don't understand.
How,
the mechanics
okay,
of it.
I'll play Red Raging.
Okay, thank you.
How Red Raging works, you said? Oh yeah, I'll play her.
All
That's
right,
cool.
thank you. Then I'll
Yeah,
play
no problem.
Ananika,
Okay.
who I do know a little bit better.
You basically you're a human shield.
Yeah, but there's a couple things she can do, and I'm not sure.
No, I know. I'm JK.
Thank you.
JK,
Did you give her an advance just now?
Yeah, she had. I'm looking at the wrong character sheet though. That's on Anika. She has tenacious. Penalties from harm are 1 level less severe.
Oh yeah, that's rad.
Though level 4 harm is still fatal. I thought it went with her flavor.
We didn't build Silver Whispering Glade as a rookie, but I don't think we need to because no one's playing her.
I did build her as a rookie, actually.
Nice.
So she is a bit unique in that she's a priestess and not a soldier, or a mercenary, rather. So she is a rookie. She's using the rookie sheet, but she has multiple advances on the rookie sheet.
Cool.
So she's every bit of Panyar. She is... Yeah, she has every inch of Panyar, which means she has all 4 heritage traits for Panyar. She has got to make it out alive. She can take an additional trauma, and she has already taken the trauma soft. She has Devil's Own Luck, so she has resistance to all rolls. And she also has Jack of all trades, which gave her 2 extra rank 1 skills. Her only thing that she's good at is rig, because she's a Panyar priestess, which is... kind of figured that was how a Panyar priestess would spend their time.
4 dots. 4 dots to her background is actually valuable.
Yes.
Well, no.
Actually, I think I shorted her by 2 dots because she starts with 4, right?
3, but I mean, she's rookie. That doesn't really matter.
It's fine. Whatever.
I-Hsien, did you already pick your character?
Yeah, I'm going with Ash.
All right. Well, I'll do Azure. No surprise.
Okay, good. We're playing the old favorites, the old standards.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so NPC'd are Sapphire Dancing Tide, Crimson Vexing Gale, and then Silver Whispering Glade. Yes?
Yes.
And that's everybody.
I'm going to quickly rearrange these. Just
and the
in
horned
case
one.
anybody's
Yes.
looking at the
Horned
sheets.
Oh yeah, hard one.
Yeah, the horned one is here as well.
I mean, I'll play in the horn one. it's
Okay,
fine.
yeah. Thanks so much.
So if you are having a conversation about how you're going to defend this area, the horned one will say, "Do not worry about the broken.
Oh, good.
I will.
Oh, yes.
Always worried
Oh,
about
good.
the broken. So
So the
that
who?
will be my responsibility."
We know this drill from Zora. Yeah.
and the lieutenant, or just the broken?
It's like very much worry about the lieutenant.
How? There's only so much that I can do.
All
by
right,
myself.
no, I'm just this. We have to get specific here, so I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm
Are
obsessed.
you not the greatest warriors of your legion? And is your legion not the greatest warriors in history?
Yes.
Have you
One.
not a name to live up to?
Yes.
You've been talking to Greymane.
I'm not saying that we won't fight the lieutenant. I just wanted to know if you are taking care of the lieutenant in addition to the broken. That's all. You don't need to go all Zora on me, okay?
It's a little
Make
stressful.
me feel stupid in front of my troops.
This has
Which
never
is
been done
her
before.
MO.
We're all a little on edge on Anika.
Okay.
Accept my apologies.
Oh, wow. That is something new from Chosen. I do accept your apology. Now, I am going to use...
Yeah, so
I'm
give me
taking-
let's
Sure, yes.
let's talk about how we're spending the afternoon
I'm,
before this planting ceremony.
trenches, spike pits.
Establish a perimeter.
Yeah.
Yes. Alerting.
Cool. How far out are you kind of building this perimeter?
What's the tree line right now? Like how much destruction was there to like actual trees?
Let's say it's like what would you prefer? It's favorable.
Um
I'm thinking like maybe like between like 30 and 100 feet of like clearing.
yeah. That makes sense.
So like
We
not
would landed with a big impact.
yeah, right. Not
I mean,
too
yeah,
much.
I think what does everyone else think? 100? Like, is this the largest sight lines? We all took bows and arrows and ranged weapons, or actually, do we want it at closer quarters so that Red Raging can basically run up and start headbutting things?
Well, do we want to be alerted first and like knowing that they're coming? And so we want to know that
Actually, maybe we do. Maybe we do want more cover because
sooner rather than later.
If we're dealing with potentially Breaker and we know there are Shadow Witches, they are crafty and move around and can fling spells.
Yes.
Yeah, so if the Horned One will say, you are not only are you the greatest warriors, perhaps the greatest fighting force in history.
Azure, you writing this down?
Yes.
Okay.
But are you not all sons and daughters of the forest? Certainly.
Now.
Certainly
Yeah.
Certainly we can make them pay for every inch they claim.
All right, let's go 30. And then perimeter, let's make the perimeter 100, right? So that extends 75-ish feet.
Let's get a couple people in a tree
Mhm.
to look at.
Yes.
Can we use animals? I turn to the Horned One. She's not going to be here during the fight at all. I was going to say, can she use animals to like scout for us, to be in trees instead of people, like, and let us know when the enemy is approaching, how close they are, what their numbers are, things like that.
So yes,
Okay.
her eyes kind of roll back into the back of her head, and she looks up and like sort of stretches her arms out. And like you have you have that magical sensation again, like a spell is being cast. And then she like kind of like returns her head back and says, "It's done. We'll have plenty of warning."
She warged.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we just talk about what load we're taking so that because that'll
Heavy.
mean utility in case there's any heavy?
Yeah.
Heavy.
This is a assault to the. Yeah. This is defend until
Okay.
we're dead.
Ash
Yeah,
is going normal.
We can kind of do this as intel questions if you want. Let's do that.
Oh, good idea.
Um,
Ash is only going normal because
of his
he's a
abilities.
scout.
Yeah.
Right.
We have the armor piercing black shot too, right?
Mm-hmm.
The wolf.
Yep, and
was
that
that
just
his name?
upgrades your black shot.
Yeah, the lieutenant was. What was his name again? Was it the wolf?
The wolf.
The
Take out
wolf.
the shadow witches.
Does he wear armor though? I'm just curious. Do we know that?
No, but he is
Okay.
preternaturally tough.
Predator. Well, does that mean natural?
It means we should have
armor?
brought a sniper.
Well, always, but I'll take the black shot. I can leave my maps behind.
Also, shadow witches. Yeah, preternaturally tough giant wolf man and 5 shadow witches is like tailor made for a rune.
Well, you can't get. I mean, a rune's not good for killing 5 things at once, right?
He's
Right,
good
but
for
he
killing
can
one thing.
watch the
Pick 'em
shadow
off.
witches and be like, that one, kill that one.
Right.
We should have just taken his eye. That's what we should have done.
For the good of Legion, we need a sacrifice.
Red Raging's gonna pick one of you up and bowl you at the 5 like bowling pins.
Perfect.
That's why we have.
Ball special.
Throw me. I have resistance to corruption.
Nice.
Okay, so other things to prep. Pour oil everywhere. So
Yep.
We can.
Oh, to start a fire if we
exactly.
want
We
to.
can do a line of fire if
Ooh,
they get close enough.
nice.
I don't.
Yeah, so we don't have to lay all this stuff out.
Mhm.
It's
Sure.
more a question of approach, which is
Okay.
like, are you going to do tricky stuff like that where you're going to like lay traps far out in the forest and start to whittle them down before they get there? Or are you going to like kind of like bunker down to where like you're fighting right at the tree line where they have minimal sight lines and where you are able to kind of like keep your backs all to each other so you can't really be like outflanked or anything. Right, like it's that's sort of
Yeah.
more. Are we going for like
Yeah.
the like Rambo stalking through the forest and picking them off one by one, and everybody's working sort of independently, or are we kind of like trying to fight as a legion,
Yeah.
like in you know sort of in the tight confines surrounding the tree? Like it's sort of what is your approach? That's a free intel question.
Thanks. There are 7 of us, so I'm going to lean on tricky, trappy stuff. And even though we can kill a lot of stupid zombies, there's still only a handful of us, so I'd rather whittle them down. I prefer to say Predator style instead of Rambo style, but
That's
I
fair.
suppose
I
Rambo
mean, we can do
works.
this in small groups, right?
Yeah.
Like, not everybody has to be alone, and especially we have Ananika, who is probably just basically leading group actions with the NPCs.
Right. Yeah. So I
Um,
think it's probably Ananika's group, and then the 3 of you are kind of the scout, the medic, the heavy are sort
Yeah.
of given a little more freedom to roam. I don't know, but it's up to you.
Yeah, but staying close, right? We're all within basically 30 feet. Yeah, and then, yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so you're trapping the forest then?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I have a scrounge to use. Is there anything that we think we might need? Like basically additional kit that we haven't packed?
Is that how Scrounge works?
Yep.
Oh.
Scrounge is basically you cobble together. So one thing it can do is give you shelter. The
Oh,
other thing it
okay,
can
yeah,
do is
so
like
that's
cobble
what it is.
together a piece of kit that you're missing.
Gotcha.
Wait.
So it's like a
What-
climbing kit from
A
vines
bomb.
or
A bomb.
Yeah. Oh, always bombs. Scatter
Um,
shot.
yeah, you could. I mean, you could make
Something
a
that-
bomb.
Yeah.
I have channels too.
Yes.
because those are refreshed.
So again, we don't have to use this until you need it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Cool. All right. Just in case, I brought a flare gun.
Hey.
Hey.
all right, do we all feel good about our kit?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Everyone's going in heavy, right?
Yeah.
Except for the scout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going in heavy.
Yep. Heavy.
Okay. So you spend the day kind of laying traps, deadfalls, lines of oil, trenches, stuff like that, right? Tripwires, things like that, snares, all that. And that night, the Horned One gathers you, and it is like kind of a somber moment. What should be sort of a triumph, right? Like you're undertaking this great resurrection. I think like there's a lot of nervous energy, even a little bit from the Horned One. She doesn't seem positive that this is going to work, and even if it does, she isn't positive that you'll survive to see it through. But here she is. So she plants the seed, and like I think asks one of you from your canteen to provide a little water for the seed, and then she reopens the same wound that she had before when she blessed each of you, and drips a bit of her blood, and red raging. This is the I think this is the first time that you were attuned to this. As she does that, the Star Fox kind of shudders with a little bit of pain and wanders over to the sapling, which is what I'm going to call it, even though it's a little more than a seed. And like it sheds tears on the sapling, and then kind of curls up around it, like over the little like mound of dirt in which it's planted. And then the Horned One says another like kind of quick prayer, and then kind of just looks up at the moon, and she says, then turns to all of you and says, "And now we wait." And I am. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so the meteor, right? The piece of the moon is like 20 feet above the ground level. So I think, I mean, it's craggy, but Ash will basically like take a position on top of it, sort of crouch down. He's got a climbing kit. He'll anchor himself sort of into it on long ropes so that he has a lot of maneuverability. And then he'll pull out a set of fine lenses and basically keep watch.
Cool. It is so yeah. So the Horned One, like as you kind of break up, she says it may not be tonight, it may not be tomorrow, but I am very confident that even my concealment magic was not sufficient to hide what we have just done. That type of ritual, it sends ripples through the weave that even the scarcely trained will be able to feel. Certainly someone like Breaker will feel it, and undoubtedly someone like Render will sense the change in Breaker, but we shall see. For now we keep watch. And she kind of just does that same warging look, right, where her eyes roll back in her head, and then she returns, and every few minutes she like starts doing that again, and then we take shifts through the night, giving watch, and let's go ahead and do an engagement roll.
Cool. Oh, we should get a bunch of stuff actually. I'm excited.
Do you want me to just go? I just go through the regular questions, Shane.
Yep.
Okay. And is this a religious or what kind of mission is it?
That's interesting.
Assault?
It is kind of a religious mission,
Alright.
but it's also kind of an assault mission.
Yeah.
I don't think
let's
it'll
do-
ultimately matter for our questions.
I think it might. Let's do assault.
Okay. Yeah, because
'Cause
actually,
you get black shot credit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Oh
do
no,
assault.
but Ananika doesn't have blight yet. Corrupt blight is what you get at when you fill up corruption.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Are all on the mission oath sworn to the Legion?
No.
Ooh.
I am
No.
going to say
I'll
yes.
take it.
Because this is not about the Legion. You are all oath sworn to the Horned One.
True. Okay. Did the commander spend an intel to give you foresight and info?
No.
Is everyone on the mission a specialist or soldier?
Yes.
Does any legionnaire distrust the leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders in the battlefield?
No. Well,
Are
you guys tell me. Do you guys trust the Horned One?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
Red Raging
literal
definitely
goddess.
As much as anyone can be trusted, yes.
Anyone else want to speak up about not trusting the Horned One?
I trust her.
Are required? Does Ananika?
Yeah, I think she has to, right?
I think
Yeah.
she's witnessed enough for
Yeah.
for sure, right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Does Ash
Okay.
have to order her to trust the horn? We need this die.
Are required specialists or equipment not on the mission?
No.
Did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot?
Well,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Right?
but-
The armor
Didn't you
piercing.
send them with black shot last
Yeah.
time?
I mean, we have that special armor piercing black shot now, and
yeah. I for sure. Yeah, you have black shot.
And is any legionnaire starting the mission wounded?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a wound.
Azure's
Azure has a-
wounded, and am I wounded?
But you get that bonus die as well from strategist from Ananika.
Right.
Okay, so
Ananika
that's
did that.
3.
Wow.
Great.
That's really good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
This is our best engagement roll ever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Primary, right, Shane?
Yes.
Okay.
Show me 5.
5.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, so it is 8 days later.
Wow. Lots of naps. Lots of breaks.
It is not lots of naps. It is
Oh.
it is lots of waiting. And as they say in the Legion, waiting is the mind killer.
Well, we've got I don't so
Playing Gwent.
playing Gwent.
Is that what we
Nice.
say?
I would say that part of the fear is probably offset by knowing that we'll be warned beforehand by the animals of the forest.
Sure.
So it's not as
But
bad
still.
as any second they can.
Right,
Yeah.
but you can only really like maintain high alert for so long, you know,
Yeah.
like you can only really be on that like knife's edge of like preparedness for a certain amount of time before it kind of starts to wear on your nerves. Which is fine. You're okay. So it is what I said, 8 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are only 6 days left until the new moon, and the Horned One does her little trick, and this time when she comes back to the group, she says, "They are coming. This is unexpected. We probably have another day before they arrive, and it is not what I'd hoped. They have both come themselves."
But you're dealing with the broken,
dang.
right? You said I'll deal with the broken. so-
Yeah. Broken.
Even I cannot, certainly I cannot take two of them, not working in concert.
So we only have to hold them off for 5 days.
We can find a way to turn them against each other, maybe.
Yeah.
Indeed. There is also I cannot avoid the possibility that you have to face one of them yourselves. I cannot guarantee that I will draw both of their attention.
Mm-hmm.
They will be after. They will seek to blight this sapling. So, you have a choice. Which one do you want me to handle?
So we lost our magic armor because we're not near Zora, right?
Correct.
Because if we had
But like
that,
half
then
of us are, but like half of us are Panyar who are marked.
Yeah.
Oh.
Plus 2d to corruption
Oh.
to resist corruption.
And Hexed are
I mean,
easier to kill than Render's troops? I don't know. They're both about the same.
They're all-
Oh,
yeah.
if we take care of the shadow witches,
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be easier for us to handle because then basically they're the ones keeping what's his face.
Wolf, yeah. So if Render comes to us, then
Oh, yeah. So then it would turn on that guy.
yeah.
Like all these names.
So I think that's the move, is to let or kill those shadow witches so Wolf gets free and just causes insanity, hopefully.
and then ideally attack Breaker.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
So
Horned one
do
is
we
the
want
Render.
Breaker?
Yeah, I
Ugh,
guess so.
okay.
I mean, we have that marked bonus as well versus magic, even though
Yeah.
I would say in a straight up fight.
This is not really the group, I guess, to take on Render, who hits hard and is hard to hit.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
the weird
Well, we have the
magic
piercing. We do have the piercing black shot.
Yes, you do have the guns.
Right,
But
but
we
his
don't have a
aren't
lot of
dead.
shooters.
His troops aren't dead, remember?
The Knights of the Black Oak aren't dead, but
Yeah.
he is.
Mm.
And you have armor piercing black shot for that reason. I don't
Hey, Ash,
like. It's up to you. Is the potency worth it? Like,
do you
know.
have one of those magic bullets that I heard you have?
Did not bring one.
Didn't bring a magic bullet.
You
Okay.
didn't equip? I mean,
I
Oh,
did
do
the
you mean
math.
you
me.
didn't equip one, or
Channel.
Crimson shot. No, what?
Channels.
yeah, that's the answer, right? Is you can
Well, no, because
Speak of
isn't
the
it an
devil.
advance in itself, taking the crimson shot?
It's the advance lets you requisition one from the quartermaster,
Oh, okay.
but channels. I don't know, Shane. You let us know.
Yeah.
You don't
I'll
get
just
stuff
spend
from the
both my- I have
quartermaster through
two-
channels.
I have 2 channels points.
it doesn't seem unreasonable to me
Just
on
both of them?
a roll, on a good roll.
I mean, yeah, you roll and see how you did, and you can spend another to improve quality of the item you get. You roll sway.
But I have to spend one to begin with. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okie doke.
Again, we're just deciding
Right.
which one do we want the horned one to handle.
Oh yeah. Oh geez.
The flip side of that, right, is that if the horned one can set free the wolf, then
Yeah.
perhaps she will actually be able to like come help you directly,
Yeah.
True.
right?
So we could tell the Horde one to take care of the shadow witches. We can try and deal with Render. Correct? Is the
Yeah.
other one?
So magic fights magic. Can we fight
Yeah.
brute strength?
I think
brute
that's
strength,
yeah.
that's
That
what,
sounds right.
That's what we would do. I think that would be our approach, is the Corps
'Cause we have the-
Undying with our
Okay.
commander who hates
Yeah.
them too and everything.
You've long had a thing about render too.
Yeah. I think it's what Zora would want as well. A straight up
Who?
fight versus
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. All right. So, another day passes. This time the horned one is staying on top of things a lot more frequently. And she begins sort of like clearing out a patch of dirt in which she's sketching sort of the directions of where various groups of enemies are sort of arranged around you, like almost giving you a battle map sketched in the dirt. And she says, I don't believe they'll wait another night. Oh, sorry. I believe they'll wait another night and attack in the morning at first light. It's what I would do. And, well, I don't think Render will want to make a move in the darkness. I'll keep an eye out for Breaker. She's a bit more tricky. And she transforms into a shape you've never seen her take, which is the size of like a gray wolf, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of gray wolves. They're man-sized, like
Oh.
like dire wolves from Game of Thrones are actually just gray wolves. So she is a massive wolf herself. And as darkness is setting in, she just kind of pads off into the forest. Um, and you have an idea of where they're arranged and where she's going. Um, and you keep watch through the night, and she returns probably an hour and a half before dawn, and sort of wakes you up. You can see that she is wounded when she returns, and she gathers everybody. She's got sort of like cuts and scrapes. You can see like the transformation that she made, like the wounds that she has sort of like track to where that is. So she has like a lot of wounds on her back and like shoulders, because she was in wolf form. And she said like, and she's sort of like short of breath when she gets back, and she says, I have hmm, I have perhaps given you a chance. Render almost certainly would have wiped you, but I have hamstrung him, as it were. He will not be able to fight with his full strength or his full troops. I just hope that I have not overexerted myself and that I will be ready for the fight with Breaker. And she says, it is time. Now we must be weary, stand watch. When they attack, I will do as I have promised. And she walks back into the forest. This time, looking very much like herself. And I think this is the point where you start to kind of like array yourselves out at your perimeter and sort of set yourself up. And sure enough, as the sun rises, like the first little alarms that you've set start going off, like maybe just like a falling branch or like a little bell that rings. There are a few like sickly screams as gaunts start to fall into your traps. Just like you hear them staggering through, thinning ranks, like crossing spiked trenches and things like that. Just those sort of basic things, getting caught in snares and generally being trapped. And it is one moment. It is probably 2 hours before you are truly challenged, right? Like I think you are able to sort of like using those bows that you used for hunting, like you're able to very quietly dispatch any gaunts that happen to make it through your like array of traps, and then quickly relocate, right? Maintain your perimeter without ever getting spotted. They're always sort of just scouting. They're just sort of sending the gaunts out and seeing where they can catch you, and you do a good job of avoiding that. And next coming forward, you hear the telltale clanking of heavy armor, and sort of like the grunting and like heavy breathing of some well, no, you fought them before, the Heartless, Brender's elite troops.
Okay, so but our weapons should do extra damage to
Yeah.
them because they're undead. Yeah,
They are dead.
it's the black
yes.
powder.
In fact, they're so dead that they have a giant hole in their chest where their heart belongs, and their heart is gone. But they are pumped full of cinder blood and ready to tango. And as the first of them kind of steps forward, and you get an eye on them in the forest, like a second and then a third also step forward, sort of swords at the ready, shielded. And behind them, just wielding a like a massive pole arm, and with 2 holes in his chest, one of which contains a severed head. Is a familiar figure, one that you saw a couple months ago on horseback on a plains as you were desperately trying to make your escape with the Star Fox in the first place. This is the first time you've seen him up close. This is the Heartless Ache.
Yes.
One of the infamous Heartless.
Okay. Do I see him from across the plane? I would like to make eye contact with him. Does he remember me from that escape I made?
I think if you call out, you will draw his attention. Would you like to do that?
No.
Actually, Ananika should have a clock that says ache rivalry.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
But it's empty.
Okay, there's no ticks on that clock. Woo!
Okay, so I don't know if he remembers me exactly, but obviously I remember him. I have this rivalry building within me, and I'm going to yell, "Last time you got away, but this time I'm going to kill you because I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with killing him. That's what I'm going to choose for my obsessed thing."
Is that true? Your obsession is killing Ache?
I mean, it's not totally clear what my obsession is.
We didn't really
So-
define it.
Yeah,
That's
I think, yeah, definitely. That's the
just
mission
go
that she got the trauma from.
Okay. Well, at that challenge, Ache is not a subtle creature. And in fact, the time that he tried subtlety, it totally backfired, and it was your fault. So with an inhuman shout, he slams the butt of his polearm into the ground and points, and almost as one, the Heartless step up and charge forward. Keep in mind, we have established that there are traps in between you, which I think those are going to be the kind of things you have to manually trigger. But yeah, so I think you have a trio of Heartless charging directly into your line, such as it is, and attempting to get to Ananika. If you do nothing, they are going to stab you, Ananika.
Okay, so they're charging us. We've got the muskets with the special armor-piercing black shot. I think the best thing for me to do is to lead a shoot. I mean, that's why we brought these kind of muskets, and they're undead, so I want to shoot them. I want to shoot them in the face until... and then they can come and try and hit us, but we should soften them up with that.
Big tummies.
Does anyone have shoot, though?
I mean, I don't have to use shoot. I could use martial. I guess you would have to use shoot to be a part of it, though. So,
Does no one else have shoot?
No. I mean, what if we did something, though, to trigger the traps?
Yeah,
Like maneuver or skirmish or something?
I
Maybe not
don't know,
skirmish.
because the reason I have the musket, we brought the black powder with the armor piercing, and that's what works against.
I mean, you could group action to trigger traps.
I guess we could do both, or...
I think before they get too close, we should probably take some out before they get to, and then shoot the remainder that come through.
Well, so
So if they get close on us, we have to use skirmish. We can't shoot.
so
I see.
We're
some
about
people
to
can
roll
trigger traps.
initiative.
Lead a group action.
To
Do
shoot.
whatever people need to do. Ash will soften them up first because he has snake-like reflexes, and whenever there's a question of who goes first, the answer is you.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ash goes first. What does Ash do?
He
Rudy
shoots
decide in
them.
the background.
He shoots them.
Ash
He
shoots them
shoots them.
alone.
So he's
Okay.
clipped in, right?
Yeah.
Clipped in the climbing gear atop the rock. So plenty of leeway on the rope, but basically like pops up from behind the top of the meteor and starts unleashing. While everyone else begins whatever it is that they are going to do. And that is a 5.
Okay, so
5
partial
shoot.
success. Cool. Okay, so I think what that is, and tell me if this works for you,
Mhm.
is you succeed. You're able to hit them, but it's going to be a reduced effect. because I think you've got like you're shooting into the tree line still. You
Mhm.
know, like they haven't really come out into the open. And you're kind of shooting a little early, so they're at a decent range, and it's like a little bit difficult to get that shot in. And this isn't like a single shot, right?
Right.
This is like kind of
It's
picking
just
your
like
moments and shooting as it like kind of peppering
a
as they
barrage.
approach. Yeah, so I'm gonna say that's just reduced effect.
Okay, so I would like to use insight. I'm familiar with the terrain. We've been scouting it, and we've been here for 8 days to resist the reduced effect consequence.
Okay.
I got 3 dots here. I'm going to hold on to.
Actually, that's great because I'm doing the math, and I think because they have scale on you, you would actually do 0 with reduced effect. So this will get you.
Well, black shots, so potency.
Okay, so 2.
And I'll hold on to the grit. So that's a 5. So 1 stress.
Okay, and you get 2.
No
ticks
reduced effect.
Yep, 2 ticks on these heartless.
Nice.
Cool. They're fighting as a group, basically. All right, Rudy, what is Ononika doing?
So I'm going to lead a shoot. If we can use the traps to kill other bad guys, then that's fine. But let's shoot these guys. Can I use sway for this? Probably not.
How are you convincing them that the best thing to do is shoot these enemies that are charging at them?
I mean, I guess it says charm is one of the options. Nah, I'll probably just go with martial.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I will lead a martial with the other squad people.
And
yeah.
And if I roll martial, then I don't have to roll shoot as well because I'm leading the grid action, right?
For martial?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, then yeah.
That's a 2.
Yes.
Level 2 harm.
Yeah, base level 2.
Yeah, no, I think you're good.
Okay.
All right. So who's participating in this? I know it's the soldiers.
Yeah, I mean the soldiers, and if there's anyone else who can,
I don't think I have anything to shoot.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'll just.
Well, I don't have anything. I don't have shoot, and I don't have a weapon to shoot.
Okay. Do you want me to shoot Anika? Azure's like. Like, do you want me to? Would you command me to?
Yeah, who are you commanding to shoot is actually the question.
Yeah.
So I'm telling the other soldiers to shoot. You can choose.
So it's just the soldiers.
Yeah, everyone else can choose if they want to jump in.
Okay.
So Sapphire and Crimson.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so I rolled 5. Oh, you rolled a 6, so it looks like it goes through no matter what.
I don't see that. I rolled a 6 for the soldiers.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's a 6. So you do it.
Yes.
And you've ordered them to use Blackshot?
Yes. And because of my ability, it scales us up from a small group to a medium group. So that should do additional potency.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you are the same size group as they are. And you are also threat 2. And they are threat 2. So this is going to be 2 full ticks. But you have Blackshot, so it's 3 ticks.
Yeah, the bullets smash into him and knocks him back.
Okay, they have 1 tick left. Following in behind them is Ake. And I will say, like, these Heartless are wounded as they are about to crash into you. But Ake is completely unbothered and will be on you just as soon as they are. Red Raging and Azure, what are you doing?
So I think that Azure probably is the one who probably set up the traps that we were doing, since she's her and Silver.
Oh yeah.
So real quick, just like to flashback to make sure do we want them to be on fire? Was that bad for us if they're burning?
Like mechanically game terms?
Like I'm assuming we're talking, like I'm flashbacking to talk with like our group as we're setting up traps. Would it be at our disadvantage if they're on fire?
Only if they get near the sapling or the star fox. Like fire seems like it might be dangerous for those two things.
But if they get close enough for them being on fire to hurt the sapling, then we've basically lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I guess I should describe what the sapling looks like right now. It's about 2.5 feet tall. It has not yet sprouted like any leaves really, but it does. I guess it does have leaves, which is growing aseasonally, I will add.
Where is it located in relation to the meteor?
It's like in the shadow of the meteor.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Sally. Oh,
Okay, so
Sally just went.
where did Sally
Did
go?
we lose Sally?
Yeah.
I think we're okay. Just Amber.
No camera.
That's fine. Just keep going.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just say, Shane, basically what I want to do is Azure to set up a trap that is like when Ake has entered the scene to just like explode him. Like we set up like I pull a thing, I pull a twig or whatever, we have a line.
Like a claymore kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. I pull a twig. I pull the twig. So I would like to roll rig with that.
I think that's fine. You definitely can make some cordage that you can pull with 8 days in this forest.
Yeah, I braided. I took the time to braid it.
Yeah.
Okay, rolling rig.
What have you created this like this improvised claymore out of?
So oil and some black shot, armor piercing black shot.
Okay.
And yeah. That's
okay.
That's
Definitely mark the black shot used.
Yep, got it.
And your oils. And do you carry alchemicals or anything from your?
I do carry alchemicals, but I don't think there's anything that I would not want them to have.
Well, can you just mark a use of your bandolier?
Yeah.
I feel like you've got like an accelerant and you've got something to push, and now you need like, I don't know, something to trigger it or something.
All right. Risky.
So whatever you want to use. I think rig makes a lot of sense here, but rec could work. I mean, this is like rig is about how well have you built it. Rec is about like how well are you timing this so you get the full effect on Ake. What do you think?
I'm thinking rig. Like I want to make sure this is a really like its intended purpose is to explode here and all the blast goes towards them.
Cool. Yeah.
Right.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
4-1.
Okay, partially successful.
I should have pushed myself. Damn it.
It's okay. There's plenty of time for pushing.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's gonna be pushing. All right, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. So I think okay, well let's start with what the you do it means. So that is a Ake is threat 3, you are threat 2, so that's gonna be 1 tick.
Plus.
But then you use black shot, so it'll be 2 ticks on Ake. So that's a starting point. Whoops.
I did it. I destroyed him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Fade to red. What I would like is here's the complication. Ake is faster than you expected. Like you haven't really seen Ake move, and you're expecting Ake to move like one of the Heartless. But Ake is actually like has cinder blood coursing through his veins. And so when this explosion happens, like like what you expect would debilitate him instead like spurs him onward through the pain. And he like charges into you immediately. Like in like the blink of an eye kind of thing, right? Like he is among the Heartless that he was trailing. Like his meat shield is basically gone now. But he is charging directly into you, and it's gonna be level. Yeah, he's charging into you.
Okay.
I won't say he's done any damage, but now he is engaged, and it's directly into Ananika. There's zero doubt here. You called him out.
Can I no, never mind. Well, yeah,
you can still get the first action, Sally. I think Red Raging has a chance to do stuff here, but I don't think you have. Like, there's nothing to protect against.
Yeah. I was thinking, would it be a superhuman feat to like? How big is Ake? How tall is he?
Like 7 feet tall.
Ooh.
So would it be considered a superhuman feat to like charge at Ake and try to tackle him like football style?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's rad. Like he comes in like this massive like glaive or something that's just about to sweep down on the old battle axe.
Mm-hmm.
And then like completely out of camera, like comes flying in Red Raging.
Okay.
I love it. Is this like a shield, like maybe a shield bash? Is that Red Raging style?
Yeah, I was thinking that I would just run at him and like tackle him, like bring him to the ground physically.
Okay, cool. Do it.
But that probably wouldn't do any harm. So maybe a shield bash is better.
I mean,
Maybe I throw my. I'm trying to do something superhuman so I can use War Machine.
okay.
And I was thinking tackling him would be superhuman, but maybe I do have a big ass shield, and maybe I.
I mean, how?
Oh yeah, maybe I just crash it into him.
Yeah, or I mean, like he has like 2 giant holes in his chest, right? Like you're pretty sure if you tackle him to the ground and get your hands in there, you could do some damage.
Love
Rip
that.
the head out of his chest.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a weird sentence to say.
Oh
but-
shit.
Oh, weird.
Oh
Like
damn.
elephant.
Yeah,
That's his flux capacitor, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would that be a skirmish?
you
or-
tell me, what's your
Or
I
wreck.
don't think-
I mean,
like wreck is like the hit stick.
yeah, I guess maybe it's wreck.
That's you
I
tell
mean,
me.
yeah, it's any of those.
I'm going to go skirmish,
Okay,
and I'm going to push myself.
Nice.
love it.
So that's going to be 4 dice. Is this risky?
This is risky, yes. You're
Okay.
not yet desperate.
Ooh, I got a 6.
Nice.
Okay. You do it. Let's start doing some math. You push
And-
for die, not effect, right?
Yeah. The threat level of sorry. So War Machine, the threat level of Ache is reduced by 1.
So he is threat 3. You are threat 2.
And I would like to push for effect.
So you already used
Well-
your push to increase your die.
Yeah, you
roll.
already used the die though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Do you have a thing like? Don't you fight as a small squad too?
So
part
if you
of it?
spend an anchor, yeah.
You spend an anchor as a. Oh right, that's the use of anchor I never use.
Right. It's
'Cause
a
I always
normal,
use it
the
with
normal
bulwark.
use of anchor, right?
Yeah, the
'cause that-
normal use of anchor. Yeah.
Because that will also give you an extra tick.
Yeah,
right? 'Cause
let
then
me
you'll have
do that.
scale. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So that if my math is right, 2 ticks for the success, -1 because you're 1 threat lower, +1 for fighting as a small squad. So 2 ticks.
Nice.
But isn't his threat reduced to my threat level
To your threat level or by 1?
By 1.
by 1? Oh,
So
is he
he's
4?
threat 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why he doesn't have a big clock. So we'd
Gotcha.
be here all day.
Okay.
Okay. So that's So you charge into, you like tackle him from the side. He goes flailing, which is and just like this cavernous bellow, as like you crash down on him, and you have like your hands like ripping into his open chest wound, in which
Nice.
there is that head. Are you taking that head out of his chest?
I want to take that baby right out.
Okay. I love this. You do that, and it screams in a way that only you hear.
Ooh.
Nobody else hears this. And it is like this. It's like it screams like the madness of beyond. Like it's screaming from the other side of the veil. Take 2 corruption.
I can resist that, right?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I have +2 because I'm marked to resist corruption.
Do you have a reliquary?
Yeah, and I did equip reliquary.
Like that gives you another +1 or +2.
So you can it's a regular reliquary, right?
Yeah, it's just the one in utility load.
So you can spend 1 use to automatically reduce the corruption you take by 1 and give yourself an additional die on this resistance roll.
Wow,
Okay, cool.
that's a lot.
So you'll have +3 dice on this roll.
Okay. +3 dice.
And this feels like an insight resist,
Okay. So
or
So the
maybe resolve.
Yeah, I would say
Mhm.
resolve.
So the corruption automatically gets reduced to 1.
Yep.
And now you are
And you're reducing that 1 corruption.
right.
and I have
Potentially
2
zero.
bonus. You said I have 3 bonus dice.
3
Ishan?
bonus
3
dice,
bonus
yep.
dice.
Ooh, yeah. I got 2 6s.
Nice.
Recover 1 stress.
It's,
You feel
Expensive,
better
Yeah, it
after
sounds
this.
so good to you. Like
So-
that
Gives you hope for the afterlife.
do you feel something? It feels like a cool breeze washing over. me.
What you hear from this head is that like you hear there's nothing to fear, that death is just the next step of life.
I don't like that too much.
Where's Atticar when you need him?
Yeah.
It's just like it screams, but what you internalize its meaning, and its meaning is like it's okay. It's okay to die.
Smash it like an egg.
Yeah. Can I just
It literally tells secrets only the dead know. That's like its thing.
Nice.
That's what the head in his chest does.
Oh shit.
Like that's in his little book. That's what Ache does.
Punt it. Just
Yeah, I want
punt
to.
it.
Can I
Right
punt
into
it?
the forest, into
Oh,
the
yeah.
oil.
No, let Asher take a look at it and talk to it for a bit.
Ooh,
Don't write that down. Don't write that
take his
down.
teeth. I want his teeth.
So I think I know you have a hard stop at 10.
I do,
It is
yeah.
just after 10 o'clock. Can we do one more round, or do we need to call it right here?
We could do. You mean like one more person doing a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Okay. Cool. So if we go back to the top, this would be Ash, but I think given all of the thing, like the Heartless are upon you, Ache is upon you, who feels like they would be the first to react to Red Raging tackling Ache to the ground and ripping it out of his chest?
Gross. Yeah. Is anyone who is there? Do they want to get involved in that, or should we just try to take out the Heartless? I mean, then from where Ash is, like, I think there's only one tick on them, right?
One tick remaining, yeah.
So I think taking a cue from Amber, he will let loose a shot at a vine that he tied up previously to trigger yet another one of the traps, ideally exploding all around the Heartless.
Okay. If this goes poorly, you may catch your allies in that explosion.
Well, let's not have it go
Yeah,
poorly.
What
we
are
play
you
to find
rolling?
out.
Shoot.
What are you rolling? Can
Shoot.
I? And you're trying to shoot at a Heartless?
He's trying to trigger
essentially.
a trap.
Oh, at
So,
a
yeah.
vine, at a vine. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think if I can help you somehow.
So I can
Ooh.
use channels to give you an additional die with my ability.
Oh, nice.
So I will say that I had requisition scopes before we let out, so I give you a
Nice.
scope to make the shot easier.
Love scopes.
Could I like discipline people out of the way to set him up to give him more dice? Would you get more dice for that if I set you up?
If you spend one stress, you can assist him.
Assist him.
An assist. Yeah, you'll take a stress to give him another die.
Oh, so I don't roll anything. Okay.
Yeah, but you.
I'm
Right, you
gonna
just take
just-
the stress.
I'm gonna shout it at everyone to move them out of your way.
Yeah, get down, maggots.
Duck.
All right, so that's one extra die, and then Rudy, what does yours do?
It is also another extra die.
All right.
All right, Sally, you mark the stress, right?
Yeah, I
And
did.
Roll
Rudy,
the dice.
you mark the channels.
Yeah.
That's a crit.
Woo!
Good.
I think this is still risky. Well, it doesn't matter. The crits are all the same. So you do it with increased effect. So I'm gonna say that you catch all of them in this blast, and the Heartless, like as they are, like let's say that you are lined up on a trench, right? Like on the high ground of and a trench between you, and as they enter the trench, you shoot and spark the like line of oil that's in the base of that trench, and as they step in and prepare to leap out to attack you, or to attack the squad, they just alight with flame, and one of them staggers out and into the melee that Red Raging is a part of, and she is able to kind of roll out of the way as this flailing dying Heartless also like grabs onto Ache, and I will mark a tick for Ache as well.
Hell
Oh,
yes.
bonus.
Good
Yes.
team effort.
Yes.
That was
Teamwork.
nice.
Teamwork.
Is Red Raging no longer engaged
Uh,
with Ache too?
Well, no longer engaged. Yeah, I think that's fair. However, there is now an obstacle between you, which is a trench full of flaming Heartless that aren't serious threats, but are still like kind of risky if you try to cross them, right? Like they're now like consider it dangerous
An
terrain.
obstacle, yeah.
Terrain.
And they might actually, because like their flames are like and like smoking and stuff. Like I think they might actually obscure your next shot a little bit, Ishan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Like yeah. So
Okay.
we'll have to we'll kind of have to figure that out a bit.
And Ash will be repositioning to higher up the rock
Right.
with the rope around his waist.
Exactly.
So does that finish the Heartless clock as well, or just damage to
Oh,
Ache?
sorry. Yes, the Heartless are gone.
Nice.
Nice.
Real gone.
Smell you later, Heartless. Red Rachel
And-
says.
It is 10:08. Do you know where your Heartless are right now? They're burning in the bottom of a pit. And we're done for the night, I think. We will pick it back up next week.
Nice. Thank you, Sally, for staying a little bit later to finish up that
No
round of
problem.
combat. Just real fast, my name is Rudy Basso. I'm at Rudy Basso on Twitter. Head to don'tsplitthepodcastnetwork.com for lots of great podcasts. Amber.
Hi, yes. You can find me online at Rocket Orca on Twitter and pretty much every social media. You can find all of my shows at geekspective.com. My show that I GM, Shapeshift, comes out actually tomorrow. So another episode. Woo!
Nice. Sally, hi.
Hi, I'm Sally at Sally T on Twitter. I co-host a podcast called The Struggle Bus. It comes out every other Thursday. It will be out next a week from tomorrow.
I-Hsien.
Hey, I-Hsien at Evil Sans Carne on Twitter. Total Party Thrill comes out, as always, every Thursday morning. So tomorrow morning, totalpartythrill.com.
Nice. And Shane.
I am Shane. I'm at Mundangerous on Twitter, and I have to go edit Total Party Thrill, so it's up tomorrow morning. So, bye.
Bye.